be put before voters each election until it's approved. But with him announcing he will not seek re-election, how do his potential replacements feel? I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson. It's going to be cold today, although not as windy as yesterday as sunshine gives way to clouds, high 35.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Air and missile attacks from both sides on day 18 of war with Iran. A blast at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq and a claim by Israel it's killed two of Iran's top leaders. One of them, the Islamic Republic's national security chief. The BBC's Yolande Knell from Jerusalem.
He was seen in public just last Friday at the Quds Day rallies that were taking place in Tehran, going around talking to people in the crowd. He was somebody who had been a negotiator on the nuclear issues for Iran.
Israel claims it's also killed a top Revolutionary Guard commander. There's no confirmation from Tehran. President Trump once again asking for help from European leaders to get oil moving again. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe at the White House.
As gas prices climb across the country, President Trump pressured allies to help secure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping choke point.
We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the strait far more than ours.
Only about 7% of U.S. crude oil imports come through the strait, but countries in Asia rely much more on what's pumped out of the region.
Oil prices jumped 4% this morning. Gas prices here up to an average $3.79 a gallon. Spring arrives Friday, and hundreds of thousands of people are waking up with no power from the Midwest and the Great Lakes, where they've been dealing with blizzard conditions, to the East Coast, where a tornado tore through Charlotte, North Carolina. It ripped the roof off Leonard Birch's HVAC warehouse.
I'm just happy that my people were safe, no damage to any major equipment or anything. The roof can be repaired.
People in L.A. sweltering through an epic heat wave. The lights are slowly coming back on in Cuba.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk. An island-wide blackout hit Cuba last night, leaving this island nation of 11 million people without power amid a U.S. oil blockade that's crippled its aged electricity grid. Cuba's Ministry of Energy and Mines says it's investigating what it called a complete disconnection of the country's electrical system. In January, President Trump threatened to slap tariffs on any country providing oil to Cuba. It's been operating on solar power, natural gas, and very creaky thermoelectric plants ever since.
Took jurors in Utah less than 3 hours to reach a verdict in the trial of a mother accused of killing her husband before she wrote a children's book about grief.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richins, is guilty of attempted aggravated murder.
She faces a possible life sentence. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
At 6:03, we have clear skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, March 17th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. One person is dead following a plane crash at a Chesterfield airport this morning. KSDK reporting that crash happened about 3:30 this morning at Spirit of St. Louis Airport. Chesterfield police say one person died in that crash. No other injuries reported at this time.
About 40 students were affected after a chemical irritant was sprayed into a crowd at Hazelwood West High School. Police say a teenager discharged the aerosol, then fled the building before being taken into custody with the help of his parents. One student was taken by ambulance for further evaluation. That investigation is ongoing.
This past Saturday night's bedlam that unfolded for about an 8-hour period in downtown St. Louis, North and South City as well, have police saying they don't have enough officers.
The magnitude of the violence, the number of calls, total disregard for police, and hundreds of young people taking over streets, ignoring police orders was never more apparent. For years, KMOX has reported on the shortage of St. Louis police officers, but until the recent change back to state control, the department was not addressing the shortage. Spokesman Mitch McCoy.
We have to continue to have a very serious conversation about the future of public safety in St. Louis.
The department has been posting on social media they are down 270 officers. That means a department that once had over 1,400 officers around a decade ago is now below 900. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis police tell KMOX following all the violence this past weekend, they're looking at ways to stop it from happening again.
I don't know what the curfew might be. We are still in the very early stages of examining this and looking at what would work best for the city, our neighborhoods, and our police officers.
Currently, there is a midnight curfew on the weekends for 18-year-olds and younger. It's 11 during the week. KMOX wanted to know how making the curfew earlier would help.
It is not just a police issue. We have to have parents at the table. And by moving that curfew up allows police officers to make sure kids can get home safely. I mean, there is no reason for a juvenile, a child without supervision, to be wandering around downtown.
This past Saturday, 7 people were shot. 2 were juveniles. Not all of the people causing pandemonium were juveniles.
Last week, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page proposed the city become a municipality and the county helping solve budget issues on both sides. How quickly could that happen?
St. Louis City Comptroller Donna Barringer has long been in favor of both governments combining to form one county. She says even in the best case scenario, it would take a long while to come together.
If we were going to consider some type of a mutual cooperation, something that we would have to go and change ordinances, charters, we're talking years. So where they stand today may not even be where they stand if this was even something that was being considered, because it would be at least 3 years away.
Barringer says the county needs to audit themselves more to understand how they're spending their money, comparing it to how St. Louis City was running in the red many years ago. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
While the weather may not be warm for today's Dogtown Ancient Order of Hibernians parade, St. Louis police tell KMOX, as for security, they have picked up on things that have happened in other places.
The Dogtown parade, we hardened a couple of points within the parade route because of things that we've seen across the country at other parades.
Thousands of people expected to be downtown this weekend for March Madness. Whether you're attending one or both, St. Louis police say they will flood the areas with officers.
If you are partaking in St. Patrick's Day celebrations today, you might be eligible to get a free ride home. 500 Missourians celebrating in St. Louis, Kansas City, Columbia, and Springfield will be eligible to receive a free Lyft from Lyft between 10 a.m. and midnight. The free rides are part of a program run by Breakthrough Beverage Missouri and Jameson Irish Whiskey. Missourians will need a code to get the price reduction. It can be found at Breakthrough Beverage Missouri's website or on the Lyft app.
10 a.m. They're starting early.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're drinking in Dogtown as they're putting up the barricades right now.
From the KMOX business desk, several area coffee shops have closed their doors in Clayton. Germania Brew House in the Emerson Tower on Forsyth, with opened just a year ago, has closed its first Missouri location. The chain has 4 other locations in the Metro East. In Belleville, Justidia's Coffee House on Main Street has shut down after just 2 years in operation. Originally, Joe and Oni's, the new owners, took over in February 24, and they said they're sad, but much thought went into their decision to close their doors for good.
It is 6:08, and when we come back, a look at the roadways and the weather as well, and the news will then continue. Stay with us here on KMOX.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/radio.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
6:10. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. It's been pretty quiet so far. Roger Brand has an update from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's been a pretty easygoing morning. You're right, Megan. This St. Patrick's Day morning. Don't know if there's any, kind of cakes and eggs thing, early morning Irish breakfast happening in Dogtown or not. Not sure how serious it is there, but I don't see any restrictions. Don't see any delays. I mean, like you said, they're putting up the barricades in Dogtown, so Clayton and Tam is sort of the heart of it there. So the secondaries you're going to find difficult to get around, I'm sure. But on the highways, I'm not seeing any issues, no delays at any of the exits as of yet. So everything's, again, green for go on this St. Patrick's Day, very quiet. We had a report of a crash downtown westbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar. It sounded minor. I still don't see any delays, and I've never heard anybody like IDOT dealing with it. So it may have just been a stall that got going, but nonetheless, the end result is I still don't see any issues coming through that area, just like the rest of the areas are still wide open. Next update is 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll have a lot of sunshine to start today. That sun will give way to increasing clouds. It's going to be cold with a high of 35. We'll have a cloudy sky into tonight with a rain or snow shower in spots, low 31. And sunshine and a few clouds, much warmer tomorrow by about 30 degrees, a high of 65 tomorrow. Even warmer Thursday, sunny to partly cloudy, high 74, and temperatures will climb even higher Friday and Saturday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it is 18 degrees downtown, but it feels like 6.
More news now. Officials divided on how to regulate the noise that often accompanies large-scale industrial operations. This comes as Ferguson prepares to negotiate a $1.8 billion redevelopment of the 150-acre former Emerson Electric campus. Councilman David Williams dismisses the idea that the city needs specialized equipment to measure if a data center is being too noisy.
It's either loud or it's not. If someone has a system in their car and they're going down the street and your house windows shake, it's loud. You don't need some type of device. I think sometimes we try to make stuff too difficult. It's either loud or it's not. I don't think we need to do all of this extra stuff.
Councilman Nick Kassoff counters that without hard data, noise complaints just become a matter of personal opinion.
We have to have an objective standard and a way of measuring that. Otherwise, the guy who works at Emerson says it's not too noisy, and the person who lives next door to the campus says it is too noisy. And how do you resolve that? Well, you resolve it with objective measurements and numbers.
The redevelopment plan would require significant backup power, making the noise issue a central one for Ferguson.
A public meeting tonight in Franklin County could shape the future of data center development in the area's Westplex.
The Planning and Zoning Commission is weighing sweeping zoning changes that could clear the way for massive facilities near the Shaw Nature Reserve and another along the Merrimack River. The Missouri Department of Conservation has already raised concerns about one site's impact on bald eagles and other protected species. The Sierra Club is also pushing back, arguing the projects could pressure Ameren to keep its Labadie coal plant running longer. The meeting starts at 6 p.m. at Union High School. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Is Explore St. Louis concerned about the Dome at America Center possibly losing its football team again?
Reports indicate the UFL is considering moving at least some St. Louis Battlehawks games from the Dome to Energizer Park. Brad Dean, the CEO of Explore St. Louis, says supporting the team is the top priority wherever in St. Louis they play.
We're honored
to host them and hope to continue to host them in the Dome. But if they were to find a better alternative in St. Louis, our support wouldn't change at all.
Dean says the Battlehawks are very important because they occupy the Dome for a number of weeks and are a key part of their marketing and facility management strategy. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The abandoned lot at 2377 Marshall Road is finally being dealt with. The Kirkwood City Council greenlit the sale of the former Kirkwood Athletic Association property to a local soccer club. Councilwoman Nancy Lutzow says she's just glad the eyesore and the behavior it attracts will finally be gone.
I'm also very excited that that property is now going to have the fences down, and it's not going to be an eyesore or an attractive nuisance for knuckleheads.
Once the deal closes, the club will start clearing the land for new soccer fields.
It's now 6:15.
And coming up in about 6 hours, the Cardinals will be playing a baseball game again. They were off yesterday. They are at it today at 12:05, 11:55 pregame in West Palm Beach against the Washington Nationals. Tom Ackerman coming to you from Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals will head south to West Palm and take on the Nationals on Cardinals.com. Mike Claiborne and Stephen Carey will join me for the call today. Meantime, the Cardinals are sitting Jordan Walker, but today they will possibly get him back in the batting order. Ivan Herrera is expected to get some swings in the Grapefruit League games this week as he comes back from knee inflammation. But in the case of Walker, it's not an injury, it's just struggles. They took him out of games, put him into the team's performance center in the batting cages. Danny Wexelman has joined us for coverage here. She was on the Gas House Gang. She's the new Cardinals television reporter and host.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about spring training, guys, and you're spot on there, Tom, is that there are guys who are banged up a little bit. You get a little concerned, especially if you know a guy's going to start the season on the IL. But in Jordan Walker's case, I don't really take a lot of stock in spring stats. That's a mouthful there. You just don't. You can't, because you know that guys are working on things. But in Jordan's case, being out of the lineup, I think, tells you a little bit more about what's going on. And I actually went out to the cages yesterday morning before I went down to Miami and had a chance to talk to Brant Brown and just get to know him a little bit more, but also the technology and information that they've brought in, the money that the Cardinals spent to make sure that they are up to the standards that most teams are when it comes to the traject machine or the force plates these guys use that are under home plate, that are gauging your heels and your toes and how much force you are using with your legs. It's a lot of cool gadgets they have there. And to your point, Jordan Walker is out there and they're trying to figure out what's going on. There's so much potential in Jordan. I got to cover him in high school. Like, this is a kid who was a commit to Duke University, very smart, very talented, big-bodied guy who I still think is trying to figure it out. And
he was the number one draft pick by the Cardinals several years ago. Now here he is trying to make a push here as they get close to the March 26th opening day date. Cardinals and Nationals today at 12:05. Tonight at 7 o'clock, it's the United States against Venezuela. What a scene that will be at Lone Depot Park in Miami. The World Baseball Classic Final. Venezuela beat Italy in the semis last night. The Blues, coming off a loss to Winnipeg, are still feeling what has been a great surge for them. They're still very much out of a playoff spot, but they've played extremely well as of late. Coach Jim Montgomery.
The players came back and they're focused on having good habits and want a little redemption.
They had absolutely a young core that started to produce, with the Blues, who have struggled through much of this season, are starting to show some of that potential pushing into the 26-27 season. College basketball, it all starts tonight in Dayton, Ohio, as the first four begins. There are 2 games today and 2 games tomorrow. UMBC and Howard at 5:40 today. Texas and NC State at 8:15. I'm Tom Ackerman in Jupiter on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Gamma Tree Experts, your trees deserve the best care. I love this time of year. I know it's cold in St. Louis right now, but spring is coming, and Gamma, which works the year round. I mean, they do things in the winter as well. But Gamma Tree Experts also means spring and summer and all of that growth. Yes, your trees and your plants are going to start popping. And there are a lot of things that you are going to have to deal with, including branches that'll be hanging over areas that you don't want them to. Have Gamma Tree Experts come back and trim away all of those excess branches. And you got to do all of that, all the limbs that could cause some damage. Now, here's the other thing to consider: thunderstorms. The Gamma Tree Experts can survey your property and let you know which trees are not doing well, which trees are susceptible to thunderstorms, tearing down limbs, possibly damaging your home, your cars parked in the driveway. Gamma Tree Experts, we've been using them for years. They've really saved us, I got to tell you. Tim Gamma's awesome. Gamma Tree Experts, gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Let's get you another check of your ride in. I think things seem a little calmer this week. A lot of kids are on spring break. A lot of parents have gone off on spring break as well. But let's see how things are panning out so far. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, yesterday morning was certainly an easy one. You're right, Debbie. This morning maybe a little bit busier. Normally Tuesdays are busier than Mondays, even when it isn't a spring break week. This traffic reports service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living, and we do have a new trouble spot right now. That it looked like there were stalls, or maybe it's a crash, but they were on both shoulders, northbound 270 north of 44, but the one was right up against the left lane. Police showed up for that one, so the left lane is now blocked, north 270 north of 44, and it's a solid jam at 44 on northbound Highway 270. That is the only interstate jam we have. In fact, that's really the only interstate slowdown we have. Looks good out west, 70 out in the Warrenton area, 55 at Festus north of Bayless, 270 at Ladue, 64 in Fairview Heights. No other issues or delays around the area right now. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
We'll start out with some sunshine, but more clouds as the day goes on. It will be cold again today with a high only around 35 degrees. Cloudy tonight. We could see a rain or even a snow shower in spots with a low of 31. And then tomorrow, much different. Pleasant, warmer with sunshine, a few clouds around, a high of 65. Right now, we have clear skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. Missouri already spends substantially less on public transportation than surrounding states, and now Governor Mike Kehoe is proposing a major cut to what it spends now. According to Citizens for Modern Transit, or CMT, and the Missouri Public Transit Association, counties in the Show Me State got $6.7 million this fiscal year. That's being clawed back to $1.7 million.
Kim Sella with CMT says public transit, including in rural areas of the state, provides nearly 40 million rides and $4 billion in economic activity statewide. She says cutting funds for transportation hurts people trying to get to work and hurts those employers as well. Sella says the state funding serves as a local match for many of transportation providers to get federal funding, so the impact is even greater.
St. Louis Community College has major concerns about a budget proposal introduced in the Missouri House Budget Committee that would shift about $9 million away from the school to give to other colleges. Chancellor Jeff Pittman says Governor Kehoe has been clear about the role community colleges play in the economic strength and growth of the state. Pittman says This 20% reduction in state funding would have a detrimental impact on students and employers in the area, and says it would put a greater financial burden on local taxpayers who fund a significant portion of the school's operations.
The Missouri legislature has passed a wide-ranging anti-crime bill.
One of its main provisions gives counties the authority to create a 1% sales tax that would fund the construction of jails specifically for younger people. Representative Greg Bush of Columbia voted no.
It takes children who could have gone to a treatment facility, and we could actually send them to school and bill Medicaid for treatment. What this bill does is take children and put them in a cage.
Several Republicans argue that more and more young people are committing violent felonies and that counties should have the means to add more jail space for juveniles. The bill now goes to the governor for his decision. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
The Gateway Arch one step closer to having more flexibility to host more events. The U.S. House passed the Gateway Partnership Act this week, which would allow the nonprofit Gateway Arch Park Foundation to partner with the National Park Service to hold activities at the park. Congresswoman Ann Wagner and Congressman Wesley Bell say it would generate new income for the Arch Foundation at no cost to taxpayers. That bill now heads to the U.S. Senate.
Illinois lawmakers considering new protections for LGBTQ plus residents in long-term care. Rachel Pearson has details.
A proposal from State Senator Selena Villanueva would create what's called a sexual orientation and gender identity bill of rights for people in nursing homes and those receiving in-home care. The measure outlines nearly 20 protections, including the right to visitors of their choosing and care that respects a resident's identity. It would also require staff to complete LGBTQ plus and HIV cultural competency training. If those rights are violated, residents could then pursue legal action against the facility or provider.
Child sex offenders in the crosshairs of Illinois senators.
State Senator Sue Rezin says legal loopholes victimize the vulnerable.
When it comes to child exploitation, grooming, and trafficking, we cannot afford to not act. We cannot allow our laws to leave room for predators to avoid real consequences. These are not just headlines or statistics. These are real children, real families, and real lives being changed forever.
Rezin is carrying Andrew's Law, which would eliminate plea agreements for certain sex crimes against kids, grooming, involuntary sexual servitude of a minor, trafficking in persons involving a minor. At the Illinois Capitol, Dave Dahl.
A plan to allow self-driving taxis is advancing in the Missouri legislature.
The House passed a self-driving taxi bill after amendments were tacked on to remove an explicit allowance for heavy commercial trucks. There's also a requirement that companies running the vehicles must be U.S.-based. The bill has faced opposition from the Teamsters. The labor union wants stronger language to prevent driverless semis. And trial attorneys hope to strengthen insurance requirements and safety measures. The bill now goes to the Missouri Senate. Sue Danielson, Missouri Net.
Fewer women are running for office these days, and that's something Nina Needleman of Rise and Run wants to change, partly through lunch and learn events like this Thursday's on running for school board.
There's actually something called imposter syndrome, where a lot of women think they're not good enough and smart enough to run, and that's not true. And all they need is to learn how, and we're going to teach them.
Upcoming Lunch and Learns will cover finance and fundraising and effective presentations for leaders. Thursday's Lunch and Learn is at Lindenwood University. More information and registration on Facebook at Rise and Run.
It's 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. and let's take that first step together.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
If you need a new appliance, this is your sign. Shop at Lowe's now to get up to 35% off and next-day delivery on hundreds of major appliances. A new appliance now means an easier-to-do list later. Our best lineup is at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Order by 4 p.m. Available Monday through Saturday. Subject to availability. Fees, exclusions, and restrictions apply. See Lowes.com/appliance delivery for more details.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
At 6:30, we have clear skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got our one highway trouble spot, folks, on northbound Highway 270. It's a crash, North 270, north of 44, near the Marshall Road overpass. So it's like midway up to Big Bend. One vehicle's on the left shoulder, at least one. It's hard for me to see in the dark. The other two on the right shoulder, but they're blocking. It looks like the two left lanes now for the crash. So North 270 starts to bog down as you approach Gravois, and it's really stop-and-go pockets north of there until you get closer to 44, and then it's a solid jam. So it's getting tougher running through that area. Now we're building volume, but still no indicators on 55 that is looking that bad. It looks okay at Butler Hill. There's a little slowdown, Weber to River to Pear and Loughborough, Holly Hills. Normally it would be busier than that. Southbound 61 also seeing a little bit of a slowdown. It's north of Wentzville Parkway down to 64 or 70, but once you get on those highways coming out of Wentzville, you're wide open, and it's a good run, and we still look great downtown, westbound. No delays, just a little slowdown briefly at the Poplar, not much there, and it looks good in the work zone in O'Fallon, Fairview Heights. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we'll start with sunshine, more clouds as the day goes on. It'll be cold again today with a high of 35. Tonight, cloudy with rain or snow shower in spots, an overnight low of 31. And then tomorrow, much warmer and pleasant tomorrow, a high of 65. We have clear skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch.
One person is dead following a plane crash at a Chesterfield airport this morning. Our partners at Fox 2 say that crash happened about 12:20 this morning at the Spirit of St. Louis Airport as the plane took off for Kansas City. Chesterfield police say one person died in that crash. No other injuries have been reported at this time.
A disturbance with mace at Hazelwood West High School sent one student to the hospital and left dozens more seeking treatment. Police say a teen sprayed the aerosol into a crowd of students, then ran from the building. School resource officers and detectives tracked him down shortly after. About 40 students were impacted. One was taken by ambulance to a hospital. Several others picked up by parents for further care.
This was what it sounded like Saturday night in North City, South City, and downtown St. Louis. St. Louis police say hundreds of young people, many juveniles, took to the streets and wreaked havoc on police and communities.
St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says the unruly crowds took control of streets at 13th at O'Fallon, 13th in Cass, and Margaret Ford and Gravois. And this horrifying scene at 19th and Locust, half a block from police headquarters.
Hey!
2 men shot there, 4 others in unrelated shootings. Over the weekend, officers worked overtime, days off, and it still wasn't enough to quell the violence. Now, with the state police board in place, the St. Louis police are saying they need more officers.
The police cannot police
by ourselves. It is a community partnership. And as it is getting warmer out, St. Louisans, especially parents, need to keep this in mind. This is a partnership.
McCoy says the department is down by 270 officers to less than 900. But if you look back about a decade ago, there were over 1,400. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Coming up, we'll have your money report. This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
It is 6:35. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch, and it's time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gentner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Rising energy prices is definitely shaking up the economic outlook for the Federal Reserve. The central bank kicking off its two-day meeting today. Officials are widely expected to hold interest rates steady tomorrow afternoon. Head of that, stocks are lower. S&P futures are down 11 points. Dow futures are falling 25. Airline passengers could see ticket prices increase and remain at elevated levels if the Strait of Hormuz isn't secured by Memorial Day. That's according to Airlines for America, which is the industry group that represents the largest carriers in the U.S. Jet fuel prices have surged as a result of the conflict. And local businesses across the country are starting to turn down offers from private equity firms. For at least a decade, private equity has been scooping up America's mom and pop businesses at a rapid clip. But now a PE pushback is starting to happen among small business owners. Critics point to higher prices for customers and less benefit to the community. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, thanks, Courtney. It is time to talk about your eyes. I know you're listening to the radio, but your eyes are so important, and it's really important to get your eyes examined regularly. Have you scheduled your annual eye exam? I would highly recommend that you call Ophthalmology Associates. The doctors, Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, and Dr. Andrew Royer, they are the doctors' doctors. That's because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. Many insurance policies do cover the cost of an annual exam, and annual eye exams, other than checking to see if you can still read the eye chart, can also find early stages of other medical issues like diabetes, high blood pressure, macular degeneration. And early diagnosis is key, especially with our changing weather. You might find yourself with dry eye or itchy eyes. There's allergic conjunctivitis, dry eye disease, all the things that can be helped at Ophthalmology Associates. Just give them a call at 314-966-5000 or find them online at youridoc.com.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card.
One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it. And now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Take a thrilling ride with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra to the far reaches of space in John Williams and Kevin Putt's A Cosmic Journey. Experience Kevin Putt's otherworldly concerto Contact, featuring the Grammy Award-winning trio Time for Three. Then soar through the unforgettable music from John Williams' iconic film scores, including E.T. and Star Wars. March 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's Cardinals preseason exhibition play today as they face the Nationals. Pregame 11:55, first pitch 12:05, and you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
More news now as we head to weather. There's mounting frustration in Cuba. Dozens of Cubans gathered on a street in central Havana, banging pots and pans to protest against a widespread blackout. It's left around 10 million people without power. The country's grid operator said the national electric grid collapsed on Monday. That amid a U.S.-imposed oil blockade that's crippled the island's already obsolete generation system.
Tens of thousands of TSA agents aren't getting paid because of the government shutdown, now more than a month old. About 10% of agents called out sick Sunday. More than 300 quit entirely.
And a federal judge in Boston has halted an order by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to stop broad recommendations for children to be vaccinated against things like flu, rotavirus, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, some forms of meningitis, and RSV. The judge says that Kennedy also likely violated federal procedures while revamping a vaccine advisory committee. Federal health officials say they plan to appeal the ruling.
And U.S. Postmaster General David Steiner scheduled to testify before the House today to discuss the post office's financial situation. The Postmaster General is expected to tell Congress that they are bleeding money and will run out of cash in 2027. In February, the Postal Service reported a $1.25 billion loss in just 3 months.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads on this Tuesday morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're not great on northbound 270 right now, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis because we still have this crash north 270 midway between 44 and Big Bend. The two left lanes are blocked, and now it looks like they actually have the right lane blocked as well for those two cars that were on the shoulder there. So the end result is northbound 270 is slow at the Sappington Road overpass, and it jams before you get to Gravois up to that crash scene again midway between 44 and Big Bend. So big time jam there, getting longer. Other routes don't look bad, though. North 55 between Bayless and Weber is a little slow. Downtown, westbound to 64 still looks good across the Poplar. It was a little heavy 10 minutes ago. And southbound 61 just went through Parkway to 64, a little busy there. 100 years, that's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:42. Time to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Brian Thompson. And winter today, summer by Saturday.
Yeah, quite the change, Debbie, as we head throughout the week. We have temperatures in the teens right now. There's still a little bit of a breeze. AccuWeather real field temperatures running pretty close to zero in most places this morning. I don't think the wind overall, though, will be as much of a factor as it has been. We'll have sunshine giving way to increasing clouds, a high of 35. Still a cold day for the middle of March. Keep in mind, our average highs this time of year are now into the mid to upper 50s, running a good bit below that. More clouds tonight. Might get brushed with a rain or snow shower at a few spots, low 31. Pleasant, much warmer tomorrow. It's going to be about a 30-degree jump, 65 the high tomorrow, with sunshine and a few clouds, and the warm-up continues after that. We'll see a fair amount of sunshine Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and again, a steady warm-up, 74 Thursday, 79 Friday, and up to 82 by Saturday. But right now, it is 16 degrees in St. Peter's. It's 16 in Florissant, and it's currently mostly clear, and 17 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 6:43. St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock says he intends to introduce a resolution tonight opposing any merger between the county and city. Hancock is running for county executive. He contends the needs of the county and city, including budget issues, cannot be addressed with a consolidation.
County Executive Page has said the online sales tax should be put before voters each election until it is approved. With him announcing he won't seek re-election, how do his replacements feel about that?
Councilman Dennis Hancock sits on the council and was the only one who voted against putting the tax on the ballot. He says putting the online sales tax in front of voters every 3 months assumes they will change their minds.
I don't believe that's the case. You know, that to me is more of, Mom, can I have a cookie? No, you can't. Mom, can I have a cookie? No, you can't. Mom, can I have a cookie? No, you can't.
Assessor Jake Zimmerman is running as a Democrat. He says when the voters speak, their choice has to be respected.
I mean, I don't know how many times you want to ask people the same thing. If they give you their answer, at some point the answer is the answer.
Zimmerman does agree with Page that voters have a binary choice in front of them, further cuts or more revenue for the county. The spokesperson for fellow Democratic candidate Brian Williams declined to comment. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Walmart that upset a lot of people when it was built more than a decade ago is now paying dividends. KMOX's Michael Calhoun has a follow-up.
In 2013, I was covering the impeachment of Ellisville's mayor over his opposition to the push-through of tax breaks for a Walmart. Across the county, Shrewsbury was also catching heat for proposing a Walmart TIF. Now, the tax increment financing deal that redid Kenrick Plaza is being held up as a success story. City Administrator Dustin Siebold told Alderman this month that the project has outperformed expectations on multiple fronts.
But overall, when you see a large debt service like that on a big economic development project, I know in past lives, those don't go that well. We are doing extremely well. Walmart is performing extremely well. This has been a very, very positive event for the city.
Siebold says the city's debt service on the original $17 million bond is now down to under $7 million. He says it could be completely paid off in 5 years, which would be 5 years early. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
I'm Tom Ackerman, live in Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals getting back to business here at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. They were off yesterday. They're at West Palm Beach today. 12:05 start against the Nationals on Cardinals.com. Mike Claiborne and Stephen Carey will join me for the call. Dustin May is going to start that game against Washington's Jake Irvin, while Micah McGreevy stays back here in Jupiter working on the backfields and getting his innings in. We are hoping to see Ivan Herrera in the lineup today. Herrera, coming back from knee inflammation, has responded very well, and he's been taking some rips in the cage out on the backfields, and he hopes to get back into the lineup as a DH. Jordan Walker has been working in the cages, and we'll see if they put him back in the lineup or work with him for one more day. The World Baseball Classic tonight, 7 o'clock, the final, United States against Venezuela. As the Venezuelans beat Italy yesterday, that means a couple of Cardinals will be back, Thomas Saggese and Gordon Graceffo on the Italian team, and the U.S. looking to win the World Baseball Classic tonight in Miami. The Blues are at Calgary tomorrow for an 8:30 face-off. Enterprise Center is all about basketball this week. Friday, 4 games in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Kentucky will open things up against Santa Clara for an 11:15 tip. Iowa State, I might have them winning the whole thing. 150 tip for them approximately against Tennessee State. The evening session at Enterprise Center, Purdue against Queens University at 6:35, and then Mizzou plays the nightcap, 9:10 tip-off against Miami, Florida. SLU, they play Thursday at 8:45 in Buffalo on KMOX against Georgia. The voice of the Billikens is Bob Ramsey.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, and you've got to not speaking for Coach Schertz or the program here at all. This is just me talking. In that, I think you have to throw all caution to the wind. You can do no hedging on any of your scouting and game plan preparation, minutes played, and all those kinds of things. You can't. Well, if we can hold player X, let's keep him around 25 minutes so that we're ready to go Saturday. That mentality has got to be out the window, and it's everything you have on Thursday night And then if you're fortunate enough to win, then figure it out from there.
If they beat Georgia, they'll play Michigan most likely in the second round. But as Rammer, Chris Ranji, and I talked about on Gas House Gang's show yesterday, it's all about Thursday, and it's a totally different mentality as you head into the NCAA tournament, the first for Coach Josh Schertz. Illinois plays just a little earlier, 8:25 tip on Thursday against Penn. That game is in Greenville, South Carolina. In Jupiter, Florida, I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is quite costly, and it might be best for them to replace the air conditioner and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. Is what I would put in my home, is what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. Dr. Jean Wang, a WashU Medicine gastroenterologist at Siteman Cancer Center.
Once you're 45 and over, even if you're not having symptoms, or even if you don't have a family history, we recommend everyone get screened for colorectal cancer, because everyone is at risk. Everyone is at risk, even if you're not having symptoms.
This is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and for more information, you can visit siteman.wustl.edu.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 26th. And KMOX's Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. First come, first serve. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate opening day with dirt cheap Budweiser and Rally House. More info at KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We've had some problems on northbound 270 pop up around 44. Let's get the latest now from Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, that's our only traffic jam we have out there this morning, Megan, and they're still working the crash. In fact, just the two center lanes getting through, left and right lanes blocked. This crash was initially on both shoulders, and then they had to block the lanes while they deal with it. So, end result, only two center lanes through North 270, midway between 44 and Big Bend, or south of Big Bend, however you want to look at it. Traffic hasn't changed too much. It's jammed now just north of Tesson Ferry up to the crash scene on northbound 270. Other highways, though, still looking pretty good. 55 has a little bit of a slowdown approaching Richardson, a little bit of a slowdown approaching Loughborough. Southbound 61 approaching Wentzville Parkway down to 64. That's kind of slow. 64 just past Prospect, a little busy, but other than that, 70 and 64 out of Wentzville look good. It look great on the Illinois side. Westbound 64, 55, 70. No delays headed for the downtown bridges right now. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be cold today, with sunshine giving way to clouds and a high of 35, and maybe a rain or snow shower tonight. The overnight low 31, but then heating up tomorrow to 65 with sun and a few clouds, and 74 on Thursday, 79 Friday, 82 by Saturday. Right now it's mostly clear. 18 degrees, feels like 7.
The news continues at 6:52. A week after an EF3 tornado ravaged the town of Aroma Park in Kankakee County, Illinois, volunteers are still feeding survivors.
Operation Barbecue Relief has been using a smoker since shortly after the twister hit to provide hot meals for hundreds of people. Volunteer cook Larry Mush.
Just something I can do. I'm not good with a chainsaw. I'm not good in tarping a roof. I can cook food.
Volunteer Ryan Keith knows firsthand how good the food is.
Barbecue, protein, can't beat it. This is the best eating you can have in a disaster.
After a hot meal, it's back to work for Keith and the other volunteers, who are showing that the worst of Mother Nature brings out the best in humanity. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Iran is stepping up its missile and drone attacks on U.S. allies across the Middle East. One strike targeted the U.S. embassy in Baghdad. Another sparked a fire at an oil tank farm in the United Arab Emirates. At least 2 Iranian missiles were intercepted overnight in Israel. Reporter Linda Gradstein in Jerusalem says Israel is firing back and taking aim at top Iranian leadership.
Israeli officials said they targeted Ali Larijani, the secretary of Iran's National Security Council and believed to be the power behind Mujtaba Khomeini, who was injured in the Israeli airstrike that killed his father Ali Khomeini late last month. Military sources said another strike targeted a senior leader of Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Israel says it has destroyed 70% of Iran's missile launchers.
How's the ongoing Iran war playing on world markets?
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. After days of red ink, Asian and European markets are mixed this morning. Investors heartened by yesterday's sharp rise on Wall Street, itself sparked by a dip in oil prices. But Brent crude is heading back up this morning, fetching $104 a barrel. The price of gold is up too, above $5,000 an ounce.
This hasn't happened to vinyl sales in more than 40 years.
Locked inside my memory, and only you possess the key.
The American recording industry has reached a record high $11.5 billion in revenue, thanks in no small part to vinyl sales, propelled by Taylor Swift's new album, Life of a Showgirl. Billboard says they climbed almost 8%, passing $1 billion for the first time since 1983. Showgirl was the biggest album of all time, selling 4 million copies in its opening week in the U.S.
Hello.
That surpasses Adele's 25, which sold 3.5 million in its first week in 2015. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Tuesday, March 17th include actor Kurt Russell, 75, actor Gary Sinise is 71, Rob Lowe, 62, and Olympic soccer gold medalist Mia Hamm is 54.
Local celebrity birthdays include Joyce Halcombe, Pat Darling, Joe Rademacher, Louise Stegman, Coretta Hewitt from the Life Group, Jessica Rogers from your St. Louis family. Also, happy birthday wishes going out to Dave Gilbert and Barbara Washington.
This is the best birthday ever. Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
It all comes down to this, folks. Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain. Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast. Speaking of fast, did you just see that play? Yeah, he vaporized that ball. That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
Let's get the latest on the roadways from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, some good news since we last spoke to Debbie with our crash on northbound 270 north of 44. They opened up those left lanes, so now it's just the far right lane that's blocked. So the 4 left lanes open, the far right lane blocked, north 270 north of 44. Traffic is a solid jam, though, from Tesson Ferry all the way up to the crash scene, or it's actually doing better as you get a little north of 44. It's just slow going by the scene as opposed to being jammed since most of the lanes are open. It has impacted eastbound 44 now. Those ramp lanes that get on to north 270 are backed up at the Merrimack River Bridge. It looks like we have a minor crash on Tesson Ferry near Kennerly as well, so just watch it if you're headed that way. Other than that, the rest of the highways are looking good. Just a little slowdown southbound 61 at Wentzville Parkway. Next update at 7:10, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This is Tuesday, March 17th. I'm Megan Lynch. These are the stories making news.
I'm Maria Kino with what the St. Louis Police Department is now saying about its manpower shortage.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Franklin County considers big changes to how data centers are considered. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Tom Ackerman in Jupiter. 9 days from opening day. What does the roster look like right now? We'll have the latest at 7:15.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson. It's going to be a cold day today as sunshine gives way to increasing clouds, high 35.
Coming up, CBS News at the top of the hour. Israel says it's taken out Iran's national security chief. Time at the tone, 7 o'clock in Mid-America.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 18 of war, and Israel claims it's killed 2 top Iranian leaders. One of them, the nation's security chief. The BBC's Yolande Nell has details from Jerusalem.
Israeli media are reporting that Ali Larijani was attacked with his son in a hideout apartment. Israel's defense minister Israel Katz said he'd been eliminated and that he and the prime minister had instructed the military to continue hunting down Iran's leadership. The Iranian security chief had been seen in public on Friday, taking part in Quds Day rallies.
The IDF also claims it's taken out the head of Iran's volunteer National Guard force. There is no confirmation from Tehran. President Trump is still getting pushback from U.S. allies after he asked for help protecting oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has blocked almost all international shipments. Correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
This is not Europe's war.
The EU turned him down. So did Australia. The Chinese and the Japanese were non-committal. And Germany's chancellor said, quote, "We are unaware of any plan as to how such an operation could even succeed."
The UN warned today a record number of people around the world could face acute hunger if the war continues through June. Bad weather and TSA sick-outs led to almost 17,000 flight delays or cancellations at U.S. airports yesterday. Tens of thousands of airport workers aren't getting paid during the partial government shutdown. TSA agent Johnny Jones is a union official in Dallas.
The majority of the employees work paycheck to paycheck, so without getting a full paycheck last time, they are definitely struggling.
Sick-out calls have more than tripled since the shutdown began last month. A college in the South has banned a Republican student group over accusations of anti-Semitism.
A photo posted online showed 2 members of the group University of Florida College Republicans giving a Nazi salute. Another photo of a group chat showed one member saying Hitler didn't do enough. The university's interim president says the school emphatically supports its Jewish community and remains committed to preventing and addressing anti-Semitism. The student group has filed the lawsuit accusing the university and its president of violating the group's First Amendment rights. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
They're suffering through a summer heat wave in March in Los Angeles. Mayor Karen Bass.
Temperatures could reach 90 degrees near the beach. That's the beach. And just think, this is technically still winter. That means we are looking at triple digits across a huge part of LA.
Spring arrives Friday. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the one you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn safe listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
At 7:04, we have cloudy skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, March 17th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. One person is dead following a plane crash in Chesterfield. Our partners at Fox 2 say that crash happened about 12:20 this morning at Spirit of St. Louis Airport as the plane took off for Kansas City. Chesterfield police say one person died in the crash, no other injuries being reported at this time.
A Hazelwood West High School student has been taken into police custody after allegedly macing a number of students. According to the Hazelwood Police Department, the juvenile discharged a chemical irritant into a crowd of students yesterday morning, spraying about 40. Police say the juvenile exited the school and fled shortly after the incident. They and school resource officers were able to locate that individual with parental assistance. An investigation is ongoing. KMOX has reached out to the Hazelwood School District for comment. We're awaiting response.
This is actual sound from Saturday night in several areas of the city. Downtown, North and South City, an area on North Broadway. It looked like a war zone, say some, complete with flamethrowers and a ring of fire that people were jumping into about a half a block away from police headquarters at 19th and Locust. This happened early Sunday morning.
Hey!
Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says 2 adult men were shot in this shootout in the middle of the street with high-powered long guns. McCoy tells KMOX the department is looking at changes for this weekend.
So, the mayor's office has been very helpful when it comes to looking at what we can do together to make sure what happened this past weekend doesn't happen this weekend.
By the way, curfew on weekends is midnight to 6 a.m. for those 18 and under. During the week, it's 11 p.m.
Today is the Ancient Order of Hibernians Parade in Dogtown. If you have concerns about security, St. Louis Police's Mitch McCoy says, given incidents that have happened at other places around the country, they have changed some things.
We have taken additional steps over the course of the last couple of years to strengthen the security of the Dogtown Parade. We hardened a couple of points within the parade route.
Several St. Louis police officers will be working the parade. While you may not see them, McCoy says, rest assured they are there.
If you are partaking in St. Patrick's Day celebrations today, you might be eligible for a free ride home. 500 Missourians across Missouri will be eligible to get a free ride from Lyft between 10 this morning and midnight. Those free rides part of a program run by Breakthrough Beverage of Missouri and Jameson Irish Whiskey. You do need a code to get a price reduction or a possible free ride. You can get more info at the Breakthrough Beverage Missouri website or on the Lyft app.
From the KMOX business desk, several area coffee shops have closed their doors. In Clayton, Germania Brew House in the Emerson Tower on Forsyth opened just a year ago, but has now closed its first Missouri location. The chain has 4 other locations in the Metro East.
In Belleville, Justicia's Coffee House on Main Street has shut down after 2 years of operation. Originally, Joe and Oni's, the new owners, took over in February 24 and said they are sad, but much thought went into their decision to close their doors for good.
We'll get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 7:08.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And you know the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now that you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big elwood on a stick, and you know the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You got to warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. You know, like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Here's Roger Brand at 7:10. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we've really had trouble this morning, Debbie, is on northbound 270. And as I mentioned just before the top of the hour, they cleared that crash. We had north 270, north of 44. They're still out on the right shoulder, but it doesn't look like there's a lane blockage anymore. But we've got a couple of jams now on north 270. You're bumper to bumper from Tesson Ferry most of the way to Gravois, and then midway up from Gravois to 44, it backs up again, and again it opens up just north of 44. Eastbound 44, though, those ramp lanes to get onto north 270, they've cleared out, so that's okay. Things look better for you there. Southbound 61's cleared out coming through Wentzville Parkway. Eastbound 70 and 64 still look great from the split in Wentzville, headed across the Missouri River Bridges downtown, headed across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridge. No delays there. We had a little bit of a slowdown a moment ago, east or westbound 64 past 159, but it looks like that has already thinned out. And like I said, the rest of these highways, even 55, Festus and north of Bayless, look good in the construction zones. Next update at 7:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a cold day today, but the wind won't be quite as strong as yesterday, especially by later on. We'll have sunshine giving way to increasing clouds, a high of 35 this afternoon. Turning out cloudy tonight, we'll have a rain or snow shower in spots, a low 31. Pleasant and much warmer tomorrow with sunshine and a few clouds, high 65. Looks fantastic Thursday with a sunny to partly cloudy sky, high up to 74. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's a brisk morning, 17 in Florissant, 16 in St. Peters, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7-11. Missouri already spends substantially less on public transportation than surrounding states, and now Governor Mike Kehoe is proposing a major cut to what it currently spends. According to Citizens for Modern Transit, or CMT, and the Missouri Public Transit Association, counties in the Show Me State got $6.7 million this fiscal year, but that's being clawed back to $1.7 million. Kim Sello with CMT says public transit, including in rural areas of the state, provides nearly 40 million rides and $4 billion in economic activity statewide. She says that cut in funding for transportation hurts people trying to get to work and hurts employers as well. Sella says the state funding serves as a local match for many of the transportation providers to get federal funding, so the impact is even greater.
The Ferguson City Council weighing a major redevelopment of the former Emerson Electric headquarters, but there's disagreement over how to manage potential noise from the site's backup generators. Councilman David Williams skeptical about the need for high-tech sound monitoring equipment, suggesting that common sense should prevail.
I think you guys are being ridiculous about the noise. It's either loud or it's not.
Like if you're in the area, you're driving by, you can listen. Hey, it's loud. I don't think we need all this technical equipment and like we're Ghostbusters.
But Councilman Nick Kassoff argues the city needs a more precise way to handle disputes between the site and nearby residents.
Loud is subjective and it's in the eye of the beholder. And, just like fast, we have numeric speed limits and we have radar to detect how fast somebody's driving.
Negotiations for the $1.8 billion project are continuing.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Franklin County residents get the chance tonight to weigh in on major zoning changes that could open the door to large data centers in their county. The Franklin County Planning and Zoning Commission meets at 6 in Union to consider proposals that would allow data centers as close as 150 feet from residential property lines and eliminate public hearing requirements for future projects. The Sierra Club says 2 proposed sites raise environmental concerns, including one adjacent to the Shaw Nature Preserve and another along the Merrimack River.
If the Battlehawks were to leave the Dome, would that be a concern? Not to the CEO of Explore St. Louis, Brad Dean. He says they'll support the Battlehawks no matter where they play.
St. Louis has consistently been the number one attendees by far. I mean, there's no other market even close to the attendance we're getting for the Battlehawks in St. Louis, which just affirms that St. Louis truly is a football city.
Dean says the Battlehawks were an important part of the Dome's marketing strategy and helped keep the Dome occupied for weeks.
A Kirkwood Youth Soccer Club set to take over a deteriorating athletic complex that's been sitting empty for years. City council members voted to sell the former Kirkwood Athletic Association baseball and softball fields to Kirkwood United Soccer Club for $175,000. The city inherited the flood-prone property in 2023 after the Athletic Association folded. Councilwoman Nancy Lutzow.
The former Kirkwood Athletic Association property was accepted by the city of Kirkwood after being offered by the KAA, which felt they could no longer operate the club as they had originally. And that happened under Mayor Griffin. So I've been dealing with this probably since the end of 2022 or beginning of 2023. So I am excited that we've finally come to a resolution and a good resolution.
The nonprofit club plans to revitalize the Marshall Road site into usable soccer fields, focusing on youth development and character building.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories, and by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman coming to you live from Jupiter, Florida, at the Cardinals Spring Training Complex here at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. The Cardinals and Nationals today at 12:05. Dustin May is going to make that start down at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches against Jake Irvin, while Michael McGreevy gets some work here. Just 6 games to go and 9 days until opening day for the Cardinals. So they have some decisions to make roster-wise. According to Ollie Marmol, he has some clarity in his mind of what he's going to do. Nothing is official yet. One of those players that it looks like has had a tremendous spring, and it would be hard to keep off at this point, is minor league free agent Nelson Velasquez. He has major league experience. Now, if you're going to add him, you have to take someone off the 40-man roster because Velasquez is not on the 40-man yet, but he's had a great spring. He has 4 home runs. The Cardinals love him as a teammate. Marmol has talked glowingly about Velasquez and pretty much everything that he's done. Here's Danny Wexelman, who joined us on the Gas House Gang yesterday, the new host and reporter for Cardinals TV.
I think what's pretty cool about Velasquez is that if you happen to look down, if you look down at your score sheet or you look away for a second, he's making loud contact. He is the kind of guy that you want to be in your seat to watch. He's made the most of his opportunities there. And if these struggles with Jordan Walker linger, maybe, I know, again, Tom said it, there's an off day today, completely shut down. Maybe this is what Jordan needs, just a complete day away from the park and come back. But you guys have said it. Like, I can't believe opening day is around the corner. And for Velasquez to make the contact again, I don't really care about the stats. I want to watch what he's doing at the plate. How is he swinging? Where are his misses? What kind of contact is he making? How is he reading the situations? Like, the way that he's being spoken about, but the way he's made the most of this opportunity coming in. And it is kind of up for grabs, right? When you have a team that is assembled the way that it is right now with the Cardinals, everybody has an opportunity to make this team. And Ollie made that really clear at the beginning of spring, is that there's an opportunity here for guys. What are they going to do? How are they going to make the most of it? And for Velasquez, he's been pretty loud, and he's making it hard for the Cardinals to not break camp with him, right? I think that's the key there, is that he is forcing their hand, which is really exciting for him.
Thomas Sajaci will rejoin the team. Team Italy was knocked out of the World Baseball Classic yesterday by Venezuela. The U.S. and Venezuela tonight at 7 o'clock. Coming up at 7:45, we'll take a look at the NCAA tournament, which gets started tonight. And SLU, Mizzou, and Illinois will all play later this week. In Jupiter, I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:20 and time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've basically just got slow going now, Debbie, on northbound 270. They cleared the crash we had north of 44, but traffic is slowed down from the Sappington Road overpass all the way to Manchester, and then right around Clayton Road up to 64. It's busy one more time. If you're southbound on 61, you've got traffic delays south of W, most of the way down to P. There was an incident there that we're clearing. Eastbound 70, Z to 64 is a little busy. East of K through TR Hughes. Spencer Road overpass to 370, a couple of slow spots. If you're traveling on northbound Highway 55, Bayless up to River to Pear is pretty heavy right now. They're reporting a crash near 4500 Broadway, but it's on the shoulder, not blocking anything. And there's some volume now in the work zone on westbound 64 as well. Both sides of 159 is kind of slow, but after that, it's a great run headed across the downtown bridges. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, we're going to start out with sunshine. We may see more clouds as the day goes on. It will be cold, though. A high 35 degrees, cloudy with rain or snow tonight, an overnight low of 31, and then pleasant and warmer tomorrow. Sunshine, maybe a few clouds, a high of 65. Right now, we have sunshine coming up, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:22. St. Louis Community College has major concerns about a budget proposal introduced in the Missouri House Budget Committee that would shift about $9 million away from the school and give it to other colleges. Chancellor Jeff Pittman says Governor Kehoe has been clear about the role community colleges play in the economic strength and growth of the state. Pittman says this 20% reduction in state funding would have a detrimental impact on students and employers in the area. He says it would also put greater financial burden on local taxpayers who already fund a significant portion of the school's operations.
Missouri lawmakers have passed a wide-ranging corrections bill during the first half of this year's legislative session.
It includes measures designed to combat crime by juveniles, according to Republican State Representative Brad Christ of St. Louis County.
This bill now addresses juvenile justice reform, including prosecutors in a more collaborative environment to keep our communities safe and our youth protected. Juvenile detention facilities allowing local collaboration on local decision-making over juvenile detention centers.
Democrats strongly objected to that portion of the bill, saying that
more flexibility to host events. The U.S. House passed the Gateway Partnership Act this week. That would allow the nonprofit Gateway Arch Park Foundation to partner with the National Park Service to hold activities. Congresswoman Ann Wagner and Congressman Wesley Bell say it would generate new income for the Arch Foundation at no cost to taxpayers. That bill now heads to the U.S. Senate.
Child sex offenders in the crosshairs of Illinois senators.
State Senator Sue Rezin says legal loopholes victimize the vulnerable.
When it comes to child exploitation, grooming, and trafficking, we cannot afford to not act. We cannot allow our laws to leave room for predators to avoid real consequences. These are not just headlines or statistics. These are real children, real families, and real lives being changed forever.
Rezin is carrying Andrew's Law, which would eliminate plea agreements for certain sex crimes against kids, grooming, involuntary sexual servitude of a minor, trafficking in persons involving a minor. At the Illinois Capitol, Dave Dahl.
Illinois State Police say gun enforcement details in 2025 made things safer for residents.
State Police had special details to make sure that people who had firearm restraining orders or were a clear and present danger to themselves or others did not possess any guns. In more than 1,000 of those details, nearly 5,000 people were said to have been brought into compliance with the law. The compliance checks were also aimed at those with criminal convictions because they're not allowed to have guns either. State Police background checks also kept people from illegally purchasing nearly 173,000 weapons in the last 6 years. Meanwhile, last year, with $1.5 million in state grants, 21 local police agencies carried out a total of nearly 11,000 gun compliance checks. Bernie Tafoya, WBBM.
More women need to run for office. Nina Needleman of Rise and Run says many women suffer from imposter syndrome, thinking they don't know enough or aren't good enough to run. This Thursday is a lunch and learn on running for school board. Needleman says it's a little different than different offices, focusing in on
what the issues are in your community and specifically in your school board. But after that, it's all the same skills and logistics that you need to run for anything, which is raise money, lots of voter contact, canvassing skills, endorsement strategies, social media.
Upcoming lunches will cover finance and fundraising and effective presentations for leaders. You can find more information on Facebook at Rise and Run.
It is 7:26, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, for thepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing, is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. Springing forward feels better on freshly cleaned carpets and floors. Let Zero Res remove lingering grime and preparing your home for the brighter days ahead. Check out all the raging customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet when you ask for the DGS special. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward or backwards, spells the same, Zero Res.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers now because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 7:30, we have sunny skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they just called out EMS, Debbie, for a crash just a moment ago. Tesson Ferry at Schuessler. I don't really see any delays through that area, so that's good news. Once you get on to 270, it's doing better. It's still slow north of Gravois briefly, pretty much from 44 all the way up to Ladue. It's just busy off the pace on that run. Southbound 61, we have this, I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash, but it is blocking a traffic lane north of Highway P. Traffic's jammed back almost to Dietrich Road north of Highway W, so it's getting a little tougher there. Be careful and be prepared. Eastbound 70, still some slow traffic. Wentzville Parkway to Highway Z. It's a bogged down Lake St. Louis to Bryan Road, K to TR Hughes. Spencer to 370 is a little slow. Eastbound 64 a little heavy. 170 through Hanley. Northbound 55 a backup. Bayless up to River to Pear, then it sorts itself out. And westbound 64 has a brief backup as well, and that works on both sides of 159. But after that, it's just a little busy at the Poplar. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny start to the day, increasing clouds as the day goes on. It will be cold with a high of 35, cloudy, and we could see rain or a snow shower in spots tonight. Expect an overnight low of 31. Right now we have 17 degrees in Florissant, 16 in St. Peters, 18 in downtown St. Louis.
One person is dead following a small cargo plane crash this morning. Our partners at Fox 2 say it happened about 12:20 this morning at Spirit of St. Louis Airport. The plane was taking off for Kansas City. Chesterfield police say one person died. No other injuries reported at this time.
That's not a racetrack. It was Saturday night in North and South St. Louis and downtown. St. Louis police say hundreds of young people, many juveniles, took to the streets and wreaked havoc on police and communities.
St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says the unruly crowds took control of streets at 13th and O'Fallon, 13th and Cass, and Margaret Ford and Gravois. And this horrifying scene at 19th and Locust, half a block from police headquarters.
Hey!
2 men shot there, 4 others in unrelated shootings. Over the weekend, officers worked overtime, days off, and it still wasn't enough to quell the violence. Now, with the state police board in place, the St. Louis police are saying they need more officers.
The police cannot police by ourselves. It is a community partnership, and as it is getting warmer out, St. Louisans, especially parents, need to keep this in mind. This is a partnership.
McCoy says the department is down by 270 officers to less than 900. But if you look back about a decade ago, there were over 1,400. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Yeah, SLMPD leadership and the city administration with the mayor's office, we have been communicating all day long.
That's, again, St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy on what to do to make sure this weekend isn't like this past weekend. First, the curfew is being looked at.
Chief Tracy has requested that the city look at moving that curfew up by several hours. We don't have a firm time yet. It is under review. The mayor's office has opened up their hands and also contributing to ideas.
Mayor Kara Spencer released a statement saying she was working with the Office of Violence Prevention. McCoy says the current weekend curfew for 18-year-olds and younger is midnight.
It's now 7:33. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
It is now 7:34, and that means it's time for your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The war in the Middle East has turned investor attention away from the artificial intelligence race to the risks facing the global economy. Oil has risen more than 40% since the war started. Stock futures are looking at slight losses this morning, with benchmark crude in the U.S. at $95 a barrel. In other news, NVIDIA is predicting that its flagship artificial intelligence processors will help generate $1 trillion of sales through next year. Demand for computing power continues to soar, and NVIDIA says it's equipped to meet that challenge. And Kraft Heinz is rolling out a series of healthier products to boost some of its lagging brands. This is the first phase in the food giant's efforts to kickstart growth. The company will soon unveil a new high-protein Kraft mac and cheese, a snack-sized version of Lunchables, and a low-sugar hydration beverage from Capri Sun that includes electrolytes. Last month, Kraft Heinz reversed its planned separation into two companies. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Tom Ackerman coming to you from Jupiter again. You know, when I walk around here, I look at the homes and, they go through some weather events here. We all know that down in Florida, but I'm not sure anybody has change in weather like St. Louis has. I mean, we see it this week. We're going from frigid temperatures back into the 80s later this week. That does a lot of damage to the exterior of your home. So you need to set it up really well.
And Banner Construction can do that. For the last 33 years, they've done that. They pride themselves on quality craftsmanship with the best materials. We're talking about James Hardy Siding, Pella Windows. Banner is a preferred James Hardy contractor and a Pella Window specialist. And it's important to choose an experienced expert like Banner to do that for you. Banner's design team will show you affordable design options you never thought you had. Banner's quality craftsmanship and innovative creative techniques will transform your home just the way you want it and even better than you dreamed. Banner Construction. Make the right choice. Call them now for a free in-home consultation. Go ahead and get in line. Everybody's going to be doing it spring and summer. All those home renovations, the exterior of their home. 314-569-1050 for Banner Construction, and have a banner day.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
More news now at 7:39. There's mounting frustration in pitch black Cuba. Dozens of Cubans gathered on a street in central Havana, banging pots and pans to protest against the widespread blackout that's left about 10 million people without power. The country's grid operator said the national electric grid collapsed Monday amid a U.S.-imposed oil blockade that has crippled the island's already obsolete generation system.
Tens of thousands of TSA agents aren't getting paid because of a partial government shutdown, now more than a month old. About 10% of agents called out sick Sunday. More than 300 have quit entirely.
A federal judge in Boston has halted an order by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to stop broad recommendations for children to be vaccinated against flu, rotavirus, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, forms of meningitis, and RSV. The judge says Kennedy also likely violated federal procedure while revamping a vaccine advisory committee. Federal health officials say they plan to appeal the ruling.
U.S. Postmaster General David Steiner scheduled to testify before the House of Representatives today to discuss the Postal Service's financial situation. Postmaster General is expected to tell Congress USPS is bleeding money and will run out of cash in 2027. In February, the Postal Service reported a $1.25 billion loss in just 3 months.
One of the biggest problems we've had this morning had been on northbound 270. Let's get the status of that now with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's doing better there, Megan, but it's still slow from earlier troubles, and now just we're at the peak morning of volume rush during the rush hour. This traffic reports a service to the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm, so we're slow on North 270 from 44 all the way up to Ladue. Southbound 61, we still have this, I can't tell if it's a crash or a stall or trying to clear it. Southbound 61 north of Highway P, traffic is jammed south of Highway U now. So it's jammed across the Big Creek. That's a couple miles of traffic backed up at jam on southbound 61. Be prepared. Eastbound 70 slow, Wentzville Parkway to Highway Z. Approaching Lake St. Louis into Bryan Road, approaching T.R. Hughes around Mid Rivers is kind of busy. Past 270 after that. Eastbound 64 backs up 170 in through Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, a little more volume there. Northbound 55 Bayless up the river to Pears, pretty solid. Westbound 64, you've got a backup approaching 159. It opens up just west of there, and then it's slow west of 3rd Street onto the Poplar. Next update is 750 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
It is 7:42, and our AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson joins us to tell you winter coat today, shorts and flip-flops Saturday.
Yeah, this is a true March forecast, Debbie. As we're going to see temperatures just climb significantly as we get from essentially tomorrow through the end of the week. But it's going to be a slow climb today. We've had a cold start this morning. Good thing is the wind is easing up. The breeze now under 10 miles per hour in most places. But temperatures still only in the teens right now. We're heading for a high of 35 today as sunshine gives way to increasing clouds. Well, if clouds tonight may be getting brushed with a rain or snow shower in spots as we get down to a low of 31s. Temperatures not dropping much tonight, and the warmer air starts to move in, and it's going to feel a lot different tomorrow. We'll have sunshine and a few clouds, a nice afternoon, high 65, and the warm-up continues Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Each day should feature a fair amount of sunshine, high 74 Thursday, 79 Friday, and then up to 82 by the start of the weekend Saturday. But right now, 15 degrees in St. Peter's. It is 16 in Florissant, and it is sunny and 16 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 7:43. She ran a nonprofit that pledged to feed hungry kids. Now 46-year-old Connie Bobo of St. Charles going to prison for stealing almost $20 million. It's thought to be the largest public assistance fraud in Missouri history.
Bobo was executive director of New Heights Community Resource Center and received money from a state program to provide after-school and summer meals for low-income and school-age kids. Instead, Bobo bought luxury homes for herself and her family, luxury vehicles, and more. She submitted fake documents to the state, citing fake board members. Federal officials say she ramped it up during the pandemic. Bobo was sentenced to 16 years.
St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock says he intends to introduce a resolution tonight opposing any merger between the county and city. Hancock is running for county executive. He contends the needs of the county and city, including budget issues, can't be addressed with a consolidation.
Do the candidates running to replace Sam Page agree with his idea to ask voters every election to whether or not they want an online sales tax in order to prevent service cuts and layoffs? Neither Councilman Dennis Hancock or Assessor Jake Zimmerman agree. Hancock, so far the lone Republican to announce his candidacy, says even if voters approve of the sales tax, it won't be enough.
The high end of the projections of this proposed sales tax is $75 million. That would not fill the budget gap that the county executive presented to us in October.
Zimmerman, a Democrat, says the first order of business should be finding inefficiencies in county government.
I see a lot of waste, and I see a lot of things that are ripe for change. And I'm excited to get to work on that.
State Senator Brian Williams, through a spokesperson, declined to comment.
Shrewsbury's city administrator taking ownership of a financial cleanup that predates his tenure. He says he's nearly through it. Dustin Siebold told aldermen that payments tied to the city's Walmart TIF bond had gone unprocessed for 5 years before he discovered the problem.
That was 5 years before I got here. This was not a problem I created. This isn't a problem Mandy created. It's just our problem to fix. So I've been working with them, and we started our submission of these pilot payments to get them into the hands of BOK to get them applied to our debts, are the big bond that we have.
Siebold says if shoppers continue to spend at the store at current rates, the debt could be paid off early within 5 to 7 years.
Tom Ackerman coming to you from the Cardinals Spring Training Complex, Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. They'll head south to West Palm Beach today, play the Nationals. Dustin May is the starting pitcher against Washington's Jake Irvin. 12:05 start on Cardinals.com. Mike Claiborne and Stephen Carey join me for that broadcast. Hoping to see Ivan Herrera take some swings today and be in that lineup as a DH coming back from knee inflammation. The lineup is not out yet. We'll take a look at it. Jordan Walker is also someone that will be anticipated this week to get back into the lineup. He's been working in the cages in the meantime. As for the roster, it's not officially set, but manager Ollie Marmol telling us he thinks there's a lot already done.
It's hard for me to think through what you know and what you don't know at the moment. I feel like there's extreme clarity on our end at the moment. Okay. Although there are still spots in each side of the ball that there is competition for.
And those spots would be right-handed relief and in the outfield. Thomas Sajaci will rejoin the team. Team Italy was knocked out of the World Baseball Classic last night by Venezuela. They'll move into the final today to take on the United States. So Sajaci fighting for a spot, but he hasn't gotten enough at bats. They need to see a lot of him. And in the meantime, Nelson Velasquez has looked fantastic down here with 4 home runs. College basketball, it's getting started tonight with the first 4 in Dayton. That means we are 2 days away from SLU taking the floor against Georgia. What does the voice of the Billikens, Bob Ramsey, think about that matchup? Here he is on the Gas House Gang.
So when I look at Georgia, it seems like they do everything at least pretty well. Their front line is huge. And depth at huge front line is very good. A little bit different in backcourt play. And if you're trying to search around and search for something that your Billikens can have an edge on, maybe, underline maybe, it's backcourt play and multiple three-point shooting. Georgia's been pretty good at defending the three, but how many times have they faced a team that has 5 guys shooting 40%? I would tell you the answer is never. So can you make your backcourt advantage an advantage?
Can the Billikens get by Georgia? If they do, they will likely face the number 1 seed Michigan. That game is in Buffalo on Thursday, an 8:45 start on KMOX. Illinois plays a little earlier Thursday, 8:25 in Greenville, South Carolina against Penn. And Missouri plays in St. Louis Friday night, 9:10 tip-off at Enterprise Center against Miami, Florida. In Jupiter, Florida, I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Experience power, beauty, and bold imagination with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, Radiant Vision. Acclaimed pianist Vikingur Olafsson returns to perform Beethoven's heroic Emperor Piano Concerto alongside Kevin Putz, led by music director Stefan Denev. March 27th and 28th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. Dr. Jean Wang, a WashU Medicine gastroenterologist at Siteman Cancer Center.
Our young onset colorectal cancer center focuses on the problems that younger patients might have. And we pay attention to things like fertility, support with trying to manage childcare and caring for older parents during that time. It's a great resource for these younger patients.
Visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions. So it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:51 and time for us to check in with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got a pretty good-sized jam, Debbie, on southbound Highway 61. We have either a crash or a stall in a traffic lane about midway between W and Highway P. Traffic's jammed south of Highway U on southbound 61. So, again, several miles of traffic. It's bumper to bumper. Southbound 79 looks great as an alternate route. I know it's a little ways to drive to get over there, but it's not doing badly as far as an alternate if you're a little further to the north. Eastbound 70, still a little busy at Wentzville Parkway, but otherwise it's good to go. Eastbound 64 looks great until you get east of Lindbergh into Big Bend's heavy. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Westbound 64, Bellevue to Hanley is the only slow spot, really. North 270, Gravois up to Ladou's busy. South 270 is clear. North 55, you've got a usual backup. Bayless up to River to Pear. Loughborough up through Virginia is a little slow. Westbound 64, west of 50 through 159 is heavy. And then it's slow again west of 3rd Street on across the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's a pretty morning, but it is cold. We do have sunshine. We could see a few more clouds today, and we won't reach a high, very high. It's going to be about 35 degrees. Cloudy tonight. Rain or snow is possible in spots with an overnight low of 31, but much warmer tomorrow. A pleasant day. Mostly sunny with a high of 65. Right now we have sunshine, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:52. Iran has continued hitting back against the U.S. and Israel's assault by targeting neighboring countries that provide support. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad came under missile and drone attacks from suspected pro-Iran militias. The BBC's Barbara Plett-Usher has more from Doha.
It's the second attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad since the war began. This time, an intense assault with multiple drones and rockets. In the Gulf, the United Arab Emirates continues to bear the brunt of Iranian fire. Its major energy hub in Fujairah was again targeted overnight, and another oil tanker has been hit in waters nearby. Authorities suspended operations at the Shah gas field, one of the largest in the world, after a strike there late Monday. They also temporarily closed the country's airspace during a barrage of missiles and drones Tuesday morning. It's open again now.
Another possible casualty of the Iran war, the next royal visit to the USA.
I'm Vicki Barker in London. With President Trump aiming verbal potshots at Prime Minister Keir Starmer over Britain's refusal to join the Iran war, there are growing calls for King Charles and Queen Camilla to cancel or postpone next month's planned visit to the U.S. British lawmaker Emily Thornberry.
The last thing that we want to do is to have Their Majesties embarrassed.
The fear is that Trump might diss the Prime Minister in the King's presence and insult Charles would find it hard to overlook. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
More than 17,000 flights were delayed or canceled Monday because of bad weather. Long lines and frustrations are growing at airports as thousands of TSA officers continue working without pay. CBS's Chris Van Cleve has more from Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport.
The winter storm that lashed much of the country this week wreaked havoc on flyers' plans. Roughly 9,000 flights canceled and 25,000 more delayed since Sunday, which is when Tammy Sampornero was supposed to leave Atlanta.
Yesterday, our flight kept getting delayed over and over and over. We got like 2 hours of sleep and came back, and so here we are, probably going to miss the next flight too.
She was greeted with TSA lines topping 2.5 hours at points Monday.
TSA workers remain on the job without pay because Congress has yet to reach a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security.
A Utah jury has found a woman guilty of killing her husband. Prosecutors aim to drive home their argument that Corey Richens killed her husband for his money. Her defense team argued that the prosecution's case leaves much to speculation.
Authorities say Richens slipped 5 times a lethal dose of a synthetic opioid into a cocktail that she made for her husband, Eric, leading to his 2022 death at their home outside Park City. Judge Richard Mrazek read the verdict of the 5 counts against her.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Corey Richens, is guilty of attempted aggravated murder.
Her sentencing has been set for May 13th.
It's now 7:55.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads now. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news, Megan. They cleared that incident we had southbound 61 north of Highway P. Traffic's opening up at Highway W. So from Highway U down to Highway W, it's bumper to bumper, but it'll probably thin out pretty quickly. So that's great to see. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, there's some slow traffic, McKnight to Big Bend, westbound 64, Big Bend to Hanley, slow, south 170, bogs down at the Parkway, north 270, north of Big Bend up to Ladouce, heavy 55, a little slow, Bayless up to River to Parents, also a little slow from A midway up to McNutt down in the Festus area. Next update at 8:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is St. Patrick's Day, Tuesday, March 17th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. A Missouri lawmaker wants more transparency for the companies that set prices for prescription medications. We'll go in depth after the news.
I'm Megan Lynch. KMOX auto expert Greg Damon will give us some tips to save on gasoline.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson. It's going to be cold today, although not as windy as yesterday, as sunshine gives way to clouds, high 35.
Also coming up on Total Information AM, do Missouri voters really support getting rid of the state's income tax? I'll talk with Steve Rogers, director of the SLU YouGov poll.
And CBS News is coming up next. Israel says it's taken out Iran's national security chief.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 18 of war, and Israel says 2 top Iranian officials have been killed in an IDF strike. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, through an interpreter.
I was updated by the chief of staff that the secretary of the National Security Council, Larijani, and the head of the Basij, the main oppression body of Iran, were eliminated overnight.
To BBC's Jeremy Bowen on Larijani, Iran's security chief.
He has been seen as a man of flexibility, somebody who sees all the angles. And he's seen as a man that maybe you could do business with. But the issue is, the Israelis don't want to do business with any of them.
Iran has launched a fresh wave of attacks on the United Arab Emirates' energy and transport infrastructure. Nasty weather's made its way from the upper Midwest to the southeast, where strong winds toppled a tree onto a home in Atlanta, barely missing Tanya Steve's 95-year-old mother.
I heard like metal breaking, glass breaking, but she got out just in time. She was in her bed.
It's only 16 degrees in parts of Illinois right now. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
It's one of the coldest St. Patrick's Day on the East Coast that we've seen in quite some time. Matter of fact, here in Chicago, it's been 80 years since we've seen a St. Patrick's Day this cold. A far cry from what they had on Saturday when they had the big celebration with temperatures in the 60s.
They're digging out from a blizzard in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The head of the Postal Service goes to Capitol Hill today. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
The Postmaster General is expected to tell Congress USPS is bleeding money and will run out of cash in 2027.
The owner of a Colorado funeral home has been sentenced to 18 years in federal prison.
3 years ago, investigators responding to calls of a foul smell at the Return to Nature funeral home in Penrose found 190 decomposing bodies. Owners Carrie and John Halford had sold cremation services but never performed them. Derek Johnson learned the urn he received contained cement mix, not his mother's ashes.
I felt this shame that her life would be remembered for her death and not the wonderful person that she was.
Carrie Halford was sentenced Monday to 18 years in prison for fraud. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Tonight's World Baseball Classic Championship is all set.
There goes Garcia from first. It's hits to left center field. Jacob Mercy will get there. The hit parade continues, and so does the fiesta for Venezuela and Miami.
Venezuela staged a wild 4-2 comeback against Italy on Fox to advance to the title game for the first time ever. They'll face Team USA at 8 p.m. Eastern. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning. This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 16 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, March 17th. I'm Megan Lynch. One person is dead following a plane crash at an airport in Chesterfield this morning. The St. Louis County Police Department say the crash happened around 3 a.m. at Spirit of St. Louis Airport. Officials say the plane's pilot was pronounced dead at the scene. They do not believe there were any other injuries or passengers on board. Police say the small cargo plane departed for Kansas City at some point overnight and crashed when the pilot attempted to return to Chesterfield. About 40 students impacted after a chemical irritant was sprayed into a crowd at Hazelwood West High School yesterday morning. Police say a teenager discharged the aerosol, then fled the building. He was taken into custody with the help of parents. One student was taken by ambulance for further evaluation. That's how it sounded Saturday night in several areas around St. Louis, downtown, north and south. An area on North Broadway looked like a war zone, according to some reports, complete with flamethrowers and a ring of fire that youngsters were jumping into. And a half a block away from police headquarters at 19th and Locust this early Sunday morning.
Hey!
Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says 2 adult men were shot in the shootout in the middle of the street with high-powered long guns. McCoy tells KMOX the department is looking at changes coming up this weekend.
So the mayor's office has been very helpful when it comes to looking at what we can do together to make sure what happened this past weekend doesn't happen this weekend.
The curfew on weekends is midnight to 6 a.m. for those 18 years old and under. During the week, 11 p.m. Officials are divided on how to regulate the noise that often accompanies large-scale industrial operations as Ferguson prepares to negotiate a $1.8 billion redevelopment of the 150-acre former Emerson Electric campus. Councilman David Williams dismisses the idea that the city needs specialized equipment to measure if a data center is being too noisy.
It's either loud or it's not. If someone has a system in their car and they're going down the street and your house windows shake, it's loud. You don't need some type of device. I think sometimes we try to make stuff too difficult. It's either loud or it's not. I don't think we need to do all of this extra stuff.
Councilman Nick Kassoff counters that without hard data, noise complaints just become a matter of personal opinion.
We have to have an objective standard and a way of measuring that. Otherwise, the guy who works at Emerson says it's not too noisy, and the person who lives next door to the campus says it is too noisy. And how do you resolve that? Well, you resolve it with objective measurements and numbers.
The redevelopment plan would require significant backup power, making the noise issue a central one for Ferguson. A public meeting tonight in Franklin County could shape the future of data center development in the area's Westplex.
The Planning and Zoning Commission is weighing sweeping zoning changes that could clear the way for massive facilities near the Shaw Nature Reserve and another along the Merrimack River. The Missouri Department of Conservation has already raised concerns about one site's impact on bald eagles and other protected species. The Sierra Club is also pushing back, arguing the projects could pressure Ameren to keep its Labadee coal plant running longer. The meeting starts at 6 p.m. at Union High School. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Councilman Dennis Hancock says he intends to introduce a resolution tonight opposing any merger between the county and city. Hancock is running for county executive. He contends the needs of the county and city, including budget issues, cannot be addressed with a consolidation. From the KMOX business desk, it's the 100th anniversary of Route 66 this year, and the Route 66 Centennial exhibit, Roads, Rivers, Rooms, Reels, opened over the weekend at the National Museum of Transportation. A centerpiece of that exhibit is a 22-foot model of the Admiral Riverboat completed by the Sheet Metal Workers Local 36. Visitors will also see one vehicle representing each decade of Route 66 existence, illustrating the evolution of American automobiles. There's also an exhibit on roadside attractions and entertainment venues with a tribute to the Warenberg Theater family, which operated the 66 Park-In Theater on Watson Road. It's now 8:07. We'll get a check of traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM.
They say good things come to those who wait, unless you bite into a Hot Pocket right out of the microwave. Waiting to see a financial advisor about retirement could also bring some pain. The pain of watching your money evaporate in a stock market decline. The pain of trying to figure out Social Security and Medicare on your own. Or the pain of writing huge checks to the IRS that you really didn't have to. At the All Financial Group, they believe the more you know, the better decisions they can make. They offer a complimentary retirement assessment. Find out where you are, how you're doing, and if there's a way to improve your retirement outcome. Don't wait. Call the All Financial Group today, 636-230-8824, or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com and set up your complimentary retirement review.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
8:10. Let's see how things are rolling on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are getting better, Megan. In fact, it's completely cleared out southbound 61, Highway U down to Highway W due to the earlier incident we had south of there. Once you get down to 64 or 70, they're both wide open in Wentzville across the Missouri River bridges. Eastbound 64 is just a little slow. 170 at Hanley. South 170, I call it the U Club Tower now. It's not even backed up to Brentwood, I don't think, so that's better. North 270 is also better. North of Manchester up to Ladue, still slow, but other than that, it looks good. 55 is back to normal coming up through Highway A, and north of Bayless, it looks good. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 just has some slow traffic, both sides of 159, but after that, it's clear sailing downtown, headed across the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll have a lot of sunshine to start today. That sun will give way to increasing clouds. It's going to be cold with a high of 35. We'll have a cloudy sky into tonight with a rain or snow shower in spots, low 31. And sunshine and a few clouds, much warmer tomorrow by about 30 degrees, a high of 65 tomorrow. Even warmer Thursday, sunny to partly cloudy, high 74, and temperatures will climb even higher Friday and Saturday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's sunny but brisk this morning, 17 degrees in Florissant, 16 in St. Peters, 16 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Pharmacy benefit managers, often shortened to PBMs, are third-party middlemen in the prescription drug market. They were designed to reduce spending, but they've come under fire in recent years. Republican Representative John Hukin of Cuban, Missouri, is a pharmacist himself, and he's proposing changes in the industry. I asked him what are some of the ways he feels pharmacy benefit managers need reform.
Well, Megan, I started in this business 40 years ago, and there was no such thing really as a PBM. We didn't even have computers at the time I started. We wrote every receipt by hand, and we typed every label with a IBM Selectric computer. And then computers came along, and we needed a way to talk to the insurance companies. And PBMs at that time were called switches, and we had to send our information from the pharmacy through the switch and then onto the insurance company to find out, was the patient covered? Were we going to get paid for the claim? And then they would send us a check within 30 days or so. Well, things have evolved over time to where the switches became PBMs, and the PBMs were negotiating prices. And probably at the beginning, they were doing a service to everybody. And it has just evolved to the point where now they make billions with a B off of these transactions. They sell prescription drugs, or they negotiate claims with the drug suppliers, and then they sell to the insurance company, or if you're the insurer yourself, maybe you've got 100 employees, you're going to pay one price, they're going to pay the pharmacy another price, and they're going to keep what they can make in the middle, and that's where things have got out of hand.
So what would your legislation actually do?
Well, what this legislation is going to do, it's really pretty common sense legislation. We basically are asking for not to be paid below our cost, which you wouldn't believe that you would have to ask for that. You would think you could at least get the cost of your medication. Pharmacies in Missouri are going away at a rate like we've never seen. We have 16 counties in the state that only have one pharmacy in the entire county. We have 2 counties in the state that do not have a pharmacy at all. And you're seeing a lot of places where patient access and patient being able to get prescriptions is being limited because of the practices of the PBMs. These pharmacies aren't going out of business because they're not willing to work hard and own their own store and do all the things it takes to be successful. They're going out of business because they're losing money faster than they can make it. And the old adage of, well, you'll just make it up in volume doesn't work when you're losing money on many of your prescriptions. You're losing $50, $75 every time you push the enter button on the computer. And so what this bill is going to do is say, okay, you can't pay us below our cost. You have to pay us a fair fee for doing what we do. You are going to have to succumb to some transparency. You're going to have to say, you know what, we're going to show where all this money's going. What we're asking for is, if you're the insurer, and let's say you own a company and maybe you insure 100 people, maybe you insure 1,000, it's going to be a lot like getting a grocery receipt at the end of a grocery transaction. When you're done buying your groceries, you get a receipt that shows this is where you spent your money. With this transparency portion of this bill, you're going to be able to look at your bill and say, oh, that's where the money's going. Okay. And the PBMs are going to have to be transparent and pass through the rebates that they're currently making all that money for themselves. They're going to have to pass those through to the insurer who's paying for these claims. I think it has the potential to save billions of dollars for Missourians. Missourians deserve a prescription system that works for patients and employers, not one just dominated by the middlemen who are making all the money. 50 states in the United States have enacted some type of PBM legislation. Missouri has only enacted one little tiny piece. It's called the gag order, that basically said, you know what, you can't, if we can sell you a prescription for $4, but your copay is $10, there used to be a law that says we couldn't tell you, hey, we can sell it to you for $4. We had to go ahead and sell it to you for $10. What this legislation is going to do is say no more of that. And it's going to make, I believe, the transparency issue is going to kind of shine the light on pricing in the industry. And it'll show that costs don't go up when that happens. Usually waste and hidden fees go away. And that's what we're looking to do. So we're also looking at the amount of audits that the PBMs do to these pharmacies. And they're really unfair in the way these audits are done. So we're asking for some fairness in the way audits are done. And you can only do a couple in a year. And we're not trying to do anything that would get rid of bad actors. If you're doing something illegal, if you're committing fraud, we want you to be caught and we want you to be out of business. But what this is doing is taking and recouping thousands and thousands of dollars from pharmacies for simple, maybe a clerical error, or maybe a day's supply type deal where they say, well, you didn't put in the right day's supply, so we're going to recoup the entire amount. It's going to give some guardrails and some guidelines to these audits that the pharmacies are having to do so much of.
Does your legislation address conflict of interest at all? Because a lot of these companies both operate as a pharmacy benefit manager and they operate pharmacies in some manner.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about it's just amazing that we have to fill prescriptions and lose money. What other industry can you think of in the entire world where you have to sign a contract with your competitor and the competitor is going to hand you a contract and say, you can either sign the contract or you can not sign the contract. Doesn't matter to us. And we're going to set up and we're going to compete with you right across the road. And we're going to be able to make money at our store, but your store is going to lose money. And so it doesn't really deal strictly with that part of it, but by saying that you have to pay us, you can't give us a contract that says you're going to pay us below our cost. You can't give us a contract that makes medications that we can't even get our hands on. They may say, well, you can buy this prescription drug for $2, but we can only find it for $20. And they're like, well, it's too bad, we're only going to pay you $2. It's going to make it to where there have to be at least 2 different suppliers of a medication at the price that they say that they're going to reimburse us for. And if not, then there will be a system in place that says, okay, we can appeal that and we can get paid at least the cost of the medication, plus hopefully a reasonable fee. It's amazing. We would just be happy to be able to get the cost of the medication and to think that we can't even ask for a fee to do what we do. I mean, it costs us money to put a label on the bottle. It costs us money to turn on the lights. It costs money to have a computer system. It costs money to hire technicians. And yet we have to take less than our cost for prescription drugs. It's ridiculous.
So as you know, a lot of these PBMs have argued that some of these measures, for example, could lead to limited access. In some states, I think it's Tennessee, CVS has threatened to close locations because the state's lawmakers are considering changes to how prescription drugs are managed. Could this cause additional problems for consumers trying to get prescriptions filled?
Well, it's already caused a lot of problems, Megan, because it's closing in the rural areas, especially. It's closing the doors of so many of the independent pharmacies that the CVSs of the world are competing against. And every time one of their doors close, their market share grows. And so all we're asking is for fairness. We've had some pushback from some of the labor unions saying, this is going to hurt them. Our bill doesn't, we're not anti-labor. We have no axe to grind with labor. We're not asking for anything out of labor. They can continue with the deals that they have and the contracts that they've signed with the suppliers. We're just saying that if you use one of our stores, if you use the store that's in what we call a critical access area, an area of the state that doesn't have, or basically is a pharmacy desert, doesn't have a pharmacy or doesn't have all but one pharmacy, that you have to pay us the cost of the drug plus a fee. So I can't imagine that it's going to cause CVS to close because they own the pharmacy, they own the insurance company, they own the physicians, they own the supply chain. It's like they call it vertical integration. And right now there are 3 PBMs in the United States that control 80% of the prescription business in the United States. So I can't imagine that this bill is going to hurt their pharmacy. But the people who are obviously against it the most are the PBMs, and it's obvious why.
That's Missouri State Representative John Hukin. The legislation has passed the Missouri House. It was approved in a Senate committee last week. Let's get the latest now on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not much to worry about out there right now, Megan. Northbound 270, north of Manchester up to Ladue is the only slow spot you've got there. Southbound 61 back to seeing a little volume. Wentzville Parkway down to 64, but once you get on to 64 or 70, you're wide open all the way downtown. I'm not even seeing any delays around the Interbelt on eastbound 64, as a matter of fact. 55 is cleared out down in Festus and north of Bayless. Downtown on the Illinois side, you've still got a little bit of a backup. Westbound 64 approaching 159. It opens up just west of there, and then it's clear sailing headed for the bridges. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
Tom Ackerman back here in Jupiter. Wish my buddy Jim Brennan was here with me, but he's busy. He's the president of McKelvey Homes, and they have celebrated 128 years of home building. They're Missouri's oldest home builder in 1898. That's when they started. Therefore, they have the 1898 sale for you. Offer number one is save $18,980 with that anniversary sale on to-be-built homes, or select one of their 30 move-in ready homes and save even more, up to $94,000 on their luxurious Summerlin Madison display home. Offer number two, how about $10,000 or $15,000 free cash to close on all to-be-built homes, and they have special financing rates as low as 4.99%. That's offer number three. That's McKelvey Homes. Visit them online at McKelveyHomes.com, McKelveyHomes.com, and move up to McKelvey.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay, things people love.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats, looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is the time for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Many of us are feeling the pain at the pump. I reached out to KMOX auto expert Greg Damon, general manager of Sparks Tire and Auto in St. Charles. Greg, what can we do to try to stretch that gas in our fuel tanks?
Don't drive. That's number one. Obviously, limit your trips that you go on. Not only that, consolidate your trips that you go on. So don't run multiple errands throughout multiple times of the day. Try to get them all done at one time. And that will certainly help out a lot. The biggest thing mechanically wise is air your tires up. Make sure your tires are aired up to the proper inflation, not what it says on the tire, but what it says on the door placard. And that's, you got to keep that up to that proper pressure. That will certainly help out a lot. Not only that, as I said, try to eliminate as much weight as possible. So if you've got a bunch of stuff in your trunk, got a bunch of golf clubs and boxes and things like that, take all the excess weight out of your trunk, and that will certainly help as well.
What about cruise control? Does that help?
It does help if you are on the highway, but you can maintain that speed for quite some time. The optimal speed to save fuel is anywhere between 55 and about 65 miles an hour. But if you can sustain that for that long, that will certainly help you save that much more fuel than being on the gas, off the gas, on the gas, off the gas. Another thing too is don't do your jackrabbit starts. So when you're sitting in a traffic light, don't take off real fast. Just accelerate moderately, accelerate mildly, and get up to speed that way. That will also help conserve fuel.
We talked a while back about idling and whether, cars are so fuel efficient now that it matters if you sit and idle for long. Does it make a difference?
Well, it does make a difference. And especially now, especially today when it's really cold outside, I like sliding into that nice warm car. But today's cars, you don't really have to warm them up like the older cars with the carburetors before. They're pretty fuel efficient right from the start. But when you're sitting and idling for quite some time, that will also use more fuel. But cars, again, are much more fuel efficient. And we kind of talked about that stop-start before. The amount of fuel used is very minuscule when you're sitting there idling.
Could a good tune-up and check and replacing filters and things like that help at this point?
100%. And that's another thing too, is also not only necessarily a tune-up, spark plugs when they're due, filters when they're due, but how about changing your oil? A lot of folks don't keep up on their maintenance like they should. A nice fresh oil change will also help conserve fuel.
Do all cars need premium gas?
Not all cars need premium gas, only cars that are required to have premium gas. And really what that is you need that higher octane to make your car run more efficiently and to make it run correctly so you don't have any sort of pre-ignition inside the engine, which can damage the engine.
So if your car does call for premium and you're trying to cheap out and use regular unleaded, probably not a good idea?
It's not a good idea for the longevity of your car or your engine. It may save you a few bucks now, but you'll definitely pay for it in the end.
That's our KMOX auto expert, Greg Damon, General Manager of Sparks Tire and Auto in St. Charles. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
My eyes used to tear up a lot until I went to Dr. Greg Birdie at Ophthalmology Associates, and he gave me a couple of really simple and inexpensive recommendations to help my dry eye. That's why I trust Ophthalmology Associates with my vision. You can call 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com for more information. As I mentioned, I see Dr. Greg Birdie. Dry eye isn't the only issue that he tracks for me. One thing he's watching very closely for me is any development of glaucoma. It runs in my family. Ophthalmology Associates has great technology to track and diagnose what's happening with your eyesight, and they have a fantastic support staff. They're great. They guide you through the whole process. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are Doctors Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. From issues like dry eye to things like glaucoma and cataracts that I mentioned, the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates can guide you through your diagnosis and treatment options. For more information, call them at 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
Larry Elder here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
8:31. It's been a fairly quiet morning on the roads, but let's see if anything else is popping up. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's looking great as of right now, Megan. This traffic reports a service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. We just have a little bit of a slowdown northbound 270, just approaching 64 up toward Ladue. Just a little busy there. Eastbound 64 is thinned out. Eastbound 70 looks great. Northbound 55, no delays. On the Illinois side, we're clear at the bridges. We do have slowdowns on westbound 64, or a slowdown, I guess I should say, about midway from 50 into 159, and it goes about just west of 159, not quite midway down the hill to 157. Then you're back on track, and that's the only interstate delay out there right now. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be a sunny day mostly, but we'll see clouds as we get toward late in the day. Cold, though, a high of 35 degrees today. Cloudy tonight, a rain or snow shower in spots with an overnight low of 31 for tomorrow. Much warmer, a pleasant day, sunshine, a few clouds, a high of 65, and then even warmer on Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, a high of 74. By Friday, we could reach a high of 79. Right now, we have 17 degrees in Florissant, 16 degrees in St. Peter's, and sunny skies, 16 degrees downtown at the Arch. March Madness tips off tonight. That means the gambling industry will be active. Here's AP correspondent Mike Henpin.
The men's and women's basketball tournaments generate more wagering than any other event in the United States. The American Gaming Association estimates a record $3.3 billion will be legally bet on the games this year. The tournaments will tip off just 2 months after federal prosecutors announced criminal charges in a point-shaving scheme that allegedly involved 6 fixers, 17 former players, and 4 players who are active with their teams this season. Players are warned about associating with people seeking inside information about their teams or offering enticements to shave points. I'm Mike Hempin.
It's 8:33. Your money report next here on Total Information AM.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Make sure you stay here on Total Information AM. Coming up every year, St. Louis University does a huge poll of Missouri voters. They look at everything from how you think the president and Congress are doing in their jobs. And this year, they've looked at whether Missouri voters really support getting rid of the state's income tax. I'll talk with Steve Rogers with SLU coming up in just a moment. First, though, your money report sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Investors keeping a close eye on the Federal Reserve, which kicks off its 2-day meeting today. Officials are widely expected to hold interest rates steady tomorrow afternoon. The war has injected significant uncertainty in the economic outlook. Stocks are starting to recover from earlier losses. Right now, futures are moving higher. Diesel is now above $5 a gallon for the first time since December 2022. According to AAA, the nationwide average touching $5.04 a gallon. Diesel is the lifeblood of the freight, agriculture, and construction industries, and any spike in retail prices will ripple through the broader economy. And Kraft Heinz is rolling out a series of healthier products to boost some of its lagging brands. This is the first phase in the food giant's efforts to kickstart growth. The company will soon unveil a new high-protein Kraft mac and cheese, a snack-sized version of Lunchables, and a low-sugar hydration beverage from Capri Sun that includes electrolytes. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tom Ackerman back in Jupiter. I hear this all the time around St. Louis. Yeah, I have an estate plan. I think I have an estate plan. We did that years ago, they'll also say, or we've been meaning to look at it again. Folks, estate plans are not one and done. And my family has been clients of the Laterman Law Firm for more than 2 decades. And what I've learned from them is this: most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. At Laterman Law Firm, it isn't just paperwork, it's an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it so it stays aligned with changes in the law, in your life, in your assets. If you're in the St. Louis area and you want an estate plan that works, call the Laterman Law Firm, latermanlaw.com or 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Hot matchup, colder drinks, only at Busch Stadium when the Cardinals host the Tampa Bay Rays on Sunday, March 29th. Fans will take home a stainless steel Cardinals tumbler presented by Coca-Cola and Quick Trip, designed to lock in the cold and show off your Cardinals pride. It's the perfect companion for 9 innings and beyond. A practical addition to any Cardinals collection that'll keep you cool all game long. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. March is that time of year when a lot of us start thinking about fresh starts, spring cleaning, that kind of stuff. If you are in the market for replacement windows, here's the deal from Universal. When you buy 2 windows, you get 2 for free with no limit, 24 months with no payments and no interest, giving you 2 full years to enjoy the comfort before paying a dime. $500 bonus off your home improvement project, 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The biggest ever review of studies on the use of medical cannabis has found no evidence it's effective against most mental health conditions and may even do more harm than good. Hundreds of flights canceled or delayed one day after powerful storms swept across the eastern half of the country and disrupted thousands of others. Amazon says it started offering faster U.S. deliveries of selected products for a fee, $4.99 for Amazon Prime members, $14.99 for non-members. Let's see how quickly things are moving on the roads this morning with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look great around here right now, Megan. I'm really not seeing anything in the way of delays, save just a little bit of a slowdown westbound 64 passing 159, but otherwise interstate travel is in great shape. They're working on the signals, I believe, northbound on 141 at 44. It looks like the center lane's blocked there, but it's not backing traffic up much. Just a little delay. If you know anybody coming in from out southwest, if they're coming in on 44, just be advised it's shut down just east of Joplin. We had a semi rear end another semi, and they caught fire. So the interstate's closed. It's eastbound 44 at that's really Sarcoxy, just east of Joplin. You have to take business 44 through the area to avoid that interstate closure eastbound. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Checking that forecast for today, it's going to be pretty but cold, a high of 35 degrees with sunshine starting the day and then increasing clouds as we head into the evening. Cloudy overnight, rain or snow showers in spots with a low of 31. Much warmer and pleasant day tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 65. And then for Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, very warm with a high of 74. Currently, we have sunshine, 16 degrees in downtown St. Louis. You're listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. How do Missouri voters feel about the job elected officials are doing, and how will they vote on key issues in the state this year? That's what the latest SLU YouGov poll asks. It was conducted in February prior to the Iran war. In studio with me now is Stephen Rogers, Associate Professor of Political Science at St. Louis University and Director of the SLU YouGov poll. Steve, the first questions always center around performance of our elected officials.
Yeah, so we surveyed about how our U.S. senators are doing in terms of their performance, Donald Trump, as well as state level actors. And so here, one interesting thing that we found is that all the political actors that we surveyed about are more popular than unpopular. And so here, in terms of their favorability rating, but everybody is a little bit down. And so here, for example, Trump's approval is now about 52-47. And this is about down 4 points from our poll that we did last February. But it's interesting if we kind of dig into these numbers a little bit more, because while the approval rating overall is only down 4%, there's a little bit of difference when we look at those strong approvers and then just those approvers. So, for example, Donald Trump's strong approval numbers are actually down about 12%. And so those strong approvers seem to be largely shifting over into the approval category, meaning that maybe some of Trump's supporters are softening a little bit on his support.
What are we seeing when it comes to how people feel about the job that Congress is doing?
So Congress, unsurprisingly, is unpopular, and it's a little less popular than we saw last year. And so this year in our poll, we found that 32% of Missouri likely voters are approving of Congress, and then 64% disapprove. So that's basically, they're underwater by 32 points, and is about 9 points lower than last year.
How's that fall as far as political parties? Can you break that down as to, what Republicans are saying about Congress and what Democrats in Missouri are saying?
So yeah, there is clear breakdowns between what Democrats and Republicans kind of think about the U.S. Congress. Republicans overall are favorable towards the U.S. Congress right now by 54% to 40%. And then additionally, we can see amongst Democrats, only 7% of Democrats approve of Congress and 89% disapprove. And so here, this is probably a little unsurprising. Republicans control both the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And so then in this, Democrats are a little less approving of what's going on.
What about the U.S. Supreme Court? The Supreme Court has taken a lot of hits lately.
The U.S. Supreme Court is still net popular. However, it's a little bit less popular than it was a year ago. In our most recent February 2026 SLU YouGov poll, 47% of Missouri likely voters approved of the Supreme Court's performance and 46% disapproved. And so this is down about 4 points in terms of approval from a year ago, and it's within our margin of error. And so Missouri voters, at least, are really kind of split on what they're thinking about the Supreme Court.
I know you asked about what these individuals think should be the top priority of Missouri state government. What did you hear from people?
So in terms of the top priority, Missouri voters again stated that the economy is going to be the top priority for the Missouri state government, or what they want the Missouri state government to focus on. And so in our poll, we asked about the economy, healthcare, education, and infrastructure. And in this, 47% of Missouri likely voters thought the economy should be the top priority, followed by only 21% for healthcare. And so this kind of makes very clear that the Missouri voters are concerned about the economy and potentially what's going on within their pocketbooks.
And that was consistent with last year then as well?
Mm-hmm. So the economy has actually almost always been the top priority. Here, healthcare hit its high back during COVID in about, say, 2021. But the economy tends to be the highest priority for Missouri voters.
I want to get into some of those economic issues in just a moment, but I know you did ask about another issue that's being looked at right now, and that is the issue of congressional elections and redistricting. What are Missouri voters saying about this redistricting in the middle of a census, different from what we've done in the past?
No, yeah. So here, one of the issues that may appear on the ballot and may affect us in November is what are congressional districts going to be? And so in the summer, Governor Kehoe called a special session in order to maybe redraw the lines, almost with the explicit intent to go from what is a 6-2 map, that would be 6 Republicans, 2 Democratic seats, to a 7-1 map, where it'd be 7 Republican seats and then 1 Democratic seat. And then in this, what we found is that Missourians are a little bit skeptical of this new map. And so when we polled Missouri voters, only 41% of voters said that they supported the state legislature adopting this new map of congressional districts. And then 44% opposed. And so this is still barely within our margin of error. And then in this, but on the whole, at least, the leaning seems to be opposed to this map. And then somewhat interestingly, if we kind of look at the party breakdowns a little bit, we found that 86% of Democratic voters opposed this map. And then 11% of Republican voters did. And in terms of supporting the map, 7% of Democrats did, but only 68% of Republicans. And so in this, what this suggests is that maybe Republican voters are a little bit not sure about this map, even though it's going to favor them, at least in terms of their party. And additionally, Missouri independents, people identify with the independent party, 52% of voters are opposed to this map. And so while overall, there's some skepticism there, it does seem to be some softening, at least amongst Republican voters, and independents seem to be opposed.
Steve is going to stick around for our next segment. When we come back, we'll find out how Missouri voters feel about getting rid of income taxes and turning to sales taxes. It's not as easy a choice as you might think.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Join us for the Rally with Us MLB Opening Day events on March 25th, 9 to 1 p.m. at the Rally House Brentwood Point location. There'll be a live broadcast, giveaways, and the first 100 customers through the doors receive a Valley House Opening Day scratcher ticket. And don't forget to pick up your opening day gear while you stop in. Rally House is your home for outrageously authentic Cardinals gear, on-field hats, jerseys, and apparel straight from the source. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
We're back with Steve Rogers, Associate Professor of Political Science at St. Louis University and Director of the SLU YouGov poll. Let's look at pocketbook issues like the cost of prescription drugs. How big of a worry is this for Missouri voters you polled?
So here we can see from Attorney General Hanaway and others as well that there's these concerns about, say, rising costs of prescription drugs. And so in this SLU poll, what we did is we asked individuals, how worried are you about this? And then when we asked these individuals, we found that 78% of individuals were either very worried or somewhat worried about, say, the prescription drug prices. And then tying back to those health items we just talked about, Megan, what we saw is that people who were in poor health were even more worried. And so if we look at people who are either in poor physical health or poor mental health, we find that this number of people worried about prescription drugs jumps to 86%.
One of the big platforms for Governor Kehoe this year has been taxes, specifically reducing individual income taxes. You looked at a number of possibilities of other taxes to replace that, including home sale transactions, car repair services, streaming services. What did you hear from people as far as all these issues when it comes to what Missouri should rely on?
No, yeah. So as listeners may be familiar, the Missouri State Legislature in the last couple of weeks passed pretty much Kehoe's proposal in order to go to the voters to ask them pretty much, should we be able to raise sales taxes in order to reduce income taxes? And then in the SLU poll, we really kind of dug into this issue. So first, we asked voters, in general, which types of taxes do you think the Missouri state government should rely on more to raise revenue? And then here we found a substantial lead in terms of voters saying that they wanted sales taxes. So here, 52% of voters said sales taxes, and then only 29% said income taxes, and then 19% of voters were not sure. And so in this, it seems to be in support of Governor Kehoe's kind of plan that maybe we should shift to a sales tax system, at least if we kind of look at what, say, voters want. But the devil with this kind of proposal may be in those details, because with this, what we can kind of see is like, okay, if we're going to get rid of income taxes, we may need to tax some things in order to still pay for our schools, roads, and everything that the state government does. And then when we pulled on probably some of the tax things that will need to be taxed in order to make up for these income taxes, we found sales taxes are very unpopular once we start asking what we're going to put taxes on. So for example, if we basically, should we put sales taxes on home sales? Only 34% of voters supported putting sales taxes on home sales, 53% opposed. We asked about, say, putting taxes on fuel and gases, 34% supported, 55% opposed. And so these are just some of the examples. Everything that we pulled on, home sales, car repair, streaming services, fuel taxes and services, were all unpopular. And then when we break it down even further, we see geographical differences between this. So earlier I mentioned that only, say, 34% of Missouri voters supported sales taxes on home sales. However, this number drops to 23% when we look at suburban voters. And so with this, when we see that it's okay, maybe I own a home, maybe I want to buy a new home, they are less willing to necessarily have sales taxes on that. And then similarly, when we kind of look at, say, car repair taxes, for example, we find that this is the tax that rural voters are most opposed in terms of adding a sales tax to. And so when we kind of look at this a little bit more, whether you're going to be impacted maybe more in the suburbs with home sales, or maybe car repair or fuel taxes a little bit more in the rural areas, Missouri voters do not seem to be very supportive of adding sales taxes, even though that's where they say revenue should come from.
Steve, anything else in this polling that you really want to make sure that our listeners take a look at?
So one additional topic that we can kind of think about is, especially we kind of look at local news and local city council meetings, is the subject of data centers. And so there's been a lot of discussion and controversy potentially about data centers. Here, cities are maybe recognizing this could be a great source of revenue, but maybe some citizens are raising the issues of what are they going to do to electricity cost or, in fact, our water supply. And so with this emerging issue, the SLUGov poll wanted to kind of investigate, okay, what do people think about data centers? And so what we did in this poll is we actually did something like a little bit of an experiment where we split our sample and then we asked this question in two different ways. We asked if people were supportive or opposing of building data centers, but we asked half of individuals if build a data center in your community, then the other half of individuals building a data center in the state of Missouri. And then in this, what we found is that pretty much only about 31% of voters supported building a data center either in their community or in the state of Missouri. However, where it gets a little bit more interesting is when we look at the opposition numbers. And so when we looked at people who were opposed, 44% of Missourians were opposed to building a data center in the state of Missouri, but 49% were opposed in their local community. And then here, what you can kind of think about is like, well, okay, I may use ChatGPT or I may use Claude or something like that, and I need a data center for it. Well, let's go build it somewhere else in Missouri and not necessarily in my community. And then to dig again a little bit deeper in here, the voters who seem to be most opposed to, like, say, those data centers in their local community are these suburban voters. And so in this, when we looked at the gap, for example, in terms of support to oppose, there's a 16% gap amongst suburban voters when we asked kind of about in the state. But this gap doubles to 32% when we ask in their community.
Steve, thank you so much. Always appreciate your help running down all these numbers.
No, thank you for having me, Megan.
And that is Steve Rogers. He's Associate Professor of Political Science at St. Louis University and Director of the SLU YouGov poll. Stay with us next hour on the Chris and Amy Show. I've been telling you the story of a deported Baldwin man. Well, that family is actually reunited in Mexico. So Make sure you stay with us for the Chris and Amy Show coming up here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.